Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom, where basketball lives forever. Here in GOAT James Kingdom, we attack the GOAT debate head on, where we challenge all Michael Jordan fans and all LeBron detractors to who is the GOAT of basketball. You can catch us every Sunday noon Eastern Time, right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel, for the GOAT James Kingdom show with B. Lee and Ajani. Also, we go live Friday nights with the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer, where you catch special shows and content as a GOAT James Kingdom follower and subscriber. Also, check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership, where you can get exclusive content.
In this episode of Forgot About Him Fridays, we have none other than Baron Davis. I'm telling y'all, BD was so cold with it. Bro said, I got a little birdie. Where you going? Gave Reggie a smooth In-N-Out burger. Now to that cup. Oh my God. You know the Hezzy was on Hall of Fame. Eric Snow and A, I can't believe it. Somebody get a Kleenex. We got teardrop. Imagine your point guard backdooring to do this shit right here. I knew KG was going to be a good businessman when he decided not to jump with him. He already knew what it was. You couldn't keep BD off that rim when he was in Charlotte. The In-N-Out cross had him punch drunk Lamy. God damn it, somebody call facilities. We got a slip and fall accident. At this time, BD was damn near a top 3 point guard in the league. Man, give me that. Ain't have not one offensive weakness. Goddamn, Baron, chill out. Should've shot it. All good though. Hit him with the Rondo. Dime. Bro was too quick, too big, and too strong. And if bro got to his launch pad, it was over. God damn. Sorry, T-Mac, ain't nothing over there. And you better not jump. Told Charlie Ward the Heisman cool, but I got a jumper. Mike, Bibby, Baron Davis, mano a mano. Don't get it wrong, Bibby was tough, but Baron was different. Bro let him go like I don't even want no problem. They was so scared they had to hug him.
Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom. Welcome. I am Ajani the Exposer, and y'all have now been exposed by the Exposer. I appreciate it. And enjoy. I am called Ajani the Exposer. You guys are being exposed today.
Your opinion, I guess.
Move on from it. It was the 90s. That's it, bro. Move on from that. You don't know history. You don't know basketball. You just told me I'm stupid. But look how stupid you look because you don't know I know all this basketball. You don't know history. You don't know jamming. You don't know schematics. You don't know coaching. You don't know scouting. You don't know drafting. You don't know nothing from that Michael Jordan's great because the media said you that, so told you to say that. I know about this report, and you are officially being exposed by the Exposer, and you're going to sit there like a man and take this just like Buddy did 2 weeks ago.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Hey, get your numbers up. I had to get my numbers up.
Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome to the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. I'm your host, Ajani the Exposer, coming live and direct off the GOAT James Kingdom channel. You guys already know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't be afraid to check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership. As you see, our content is growing and our following is growing. So we want to give a shout out to everybody who's already a GJK member, as we got some of y'all in the building. Peace and blessings to Zero. Indeed. Shout out to you. Thank you for joining us here. Again, it is the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. I'm your host, Ajani the Exposer. I come every Friday night right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel to be able to open up a platform for all basketball fans, right? And obviously, you guys know I'm making a name for myself as a LeBron fan. People are truly enamored with LeBron. Whether you love him or you hate him, you're still enamored with the guy. He's one of the greatest things we've ever seen, right? So with that being said, tonight's show, I felt like I had to address a few things because, for one, it's my birthday weekend. And I turned 44 this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I turned 44 years old. Yes, I was born in 1981. I was born in the 1900s. And the reason I bring this up is because recently we just heard Zesty Fitness and Rants, claim that I just started watching basketball in 2010. And I find it weird that everybody could try to come at me about how you're supposed to be a basketball fan or not. It doesn't make sense to me because, I talk about it with Chilltown all the time. if you're a basketball fan, for one, you should have a basketball team that you root for. Two, there should be a player that you like that you also root for. And we all know in today's content creating world, there is nothing but hateful content about either one, basketball teams or the players. All right. And I'm here to address some of this because I'm a basketball fan. I've been a basketball fan for quite some time. And the reason I even thought about this show was because with the OKC Thunder, right, being the type of team that they are, and again, shout out to everybody on FYF Sports Debate who is watching us because we are live there as well. Shout out to everybody who's watching us on Instagram. We are running live on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Like I said, we are on all platforms. We're not only on YouTube and Instagram. We're also on Facebook. We're also on TikTok. We're on Twitter. We're on Discord. We're all over the place. Again, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that ring notification so that you know when we drop new videos and content. But I was thinking about this OKC Thunder team and how people are not really wanting to give them their flowers. Even I wasn't ready to give them their flowers. Now, I thought that they would lose to Denver. That was my playoff prediction. I knew they would get past the first round, and I knew they would face Denver in the second round because I had Denver beating the Clippers, and I had the Denver beating the OKC Thunder. But obviously, the Denver Nuggets didn't do it. I can make excuses about injuries, this, that, and the third. But either way, the Denver Nuggets didn't do it. Once they did that, I had to give my flowers to the OKC Thunder because I knew they would make the NBA Finals and basically be the NBA championship team. I had hopes for Minnesota to make the NBA Finals, but in reality, it was the OKC Thunder. And I thought about how the OKC Thunder doesn't have a large fan base because of the quote-unquote small market and how the NBA always has this tag about small market teams. So I wanted to, address some of the stuff that we hear about with these small market teams and things of that nature. And I wanted to talk about my fandom because what made me a fan of the NBA was small market team, which was the Charlotte Hornets. I became a basketball fan as a kid watching the Charlotte Hornets. That's how I came in love with the game of basketball through the NBA. Shout out to you, King Rose Speech. Appreciate that, brother. I see you in the comments, right? I see you in the comments, though. I see y'all in the comments. You talking about plumbers? Listen, plumbers. Well, how Baron Davis is a plumber? Baron Davis is a 2000s player for sure. He's a 2000s player for sure. But I wanted to discuss this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Juan Boy, a DJK member. Peace and blessings, brother. Thank you for joining me. Asante's in the building. Peace and blessings. Thank you for joining me. You know what I'm saying? Yes, an emergence day. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to talk about Mike is in the building. Shout out to Mike. You over here challenging me. I better cook today. I'm gonna cook today, Mike, because I know you wasn't born in the 1900s, Mike. If I'm correct, Mike, the way you be talking, you wasn't born in the 1900s, Mike. But shout out to you, man. Thank you for joining me here on a Friday night. Oh, we got Dookie in the building. Dookie is in the building. Why you come popping up over here, Dookie? What do you think you're gonna find? Your exposure for sure. Shout out to you. Peace and blessings, brother. Thank you for that one. Peace and blessings, Malcolm. Thank you for that one. Dookie, you still out here commenting, Dookie? I smoke. Hi, you haven't responded. Go back and come back to me when you respond to any of the things that we dropped in GOAT James Kingdom. You haven't responded to nothing we said here in GOAT James Kingdom, sir. I knew you would pop your zesty Jeffrey head up in here, bruh. You don't scare nobody.
Buddy, you still there? I just don't know. It seems like you're trying to speak.
Dookie is trying to speak. But again, you're safe in the comments, young man. You are safe in the comments. Shout out to you, Deshaun. Peace and blessings, brother. Thank you for joining me. All right. Yeah. No, Dookie. The link will be up for you very shortly, Dookie. The link will be up for you very shortly. Because you got exposed very easily, brother. You got exposed very easily. So much so that the Zesty Jeffrey, Zesty Fitness and Rants came to your defense. He couldn't stand it. That man's been ignoring us for years after we exposed him. I'm glad to see you, though, here. Peace and blessings, Dookie. Thank you for joining another Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. So back to it. Dookie's probably another one that wasn't born in the 1900s, and I'm not talking basketball, too. Again, my oldest daughter is 25 years old. She's married. She got a career. She got a child. I'm a grandfather. I'm officially unk status, ladies and gentlemen. I'm 44 years old. I'm unk status. Arguing with you young dudes is unnecessary for me anymore. But I'm gonna bring back to what we were talking about here, what we were tailoring the conversation about. The conversation was about small market teams and how the Charlotte Hornets was the team that basically turned me into an NBA fan. Okay. And if you don't know, the Charlotte Hornets inaugural season was 1988-89 NBA season. Them and the Miami Heat together were a part of the 4 new teams of the NBA. To start off the 90s, and the newfound NBA got a new contract with NBC. They were going to turn up. TNT and TBS, I believe TNT at the time and TBS were showing games, but definitely TNT. Cable was on the rise. And obviously, NBC was about to take the NBA to a new heights with Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls, and all of that, right? So that's what we know about that time. Shout out to you, Asante's in the building. Dookie has his own echo chamber. Yeah, of course, he had to come check on me. That's fine. You know what? Shout out to Dookie for getting his channel back, because I was told you lost your channel, but you got your channel back. You built up your other channel. So you do a good job as a content creator. The Zesty Jeffries love you, but you are another one that got exposed by the exposer, sir. You're not the first. You're not the last. I told you I'm ready for a 20v1 versus all you Zesty Jeffries, but none of you come up and ready prepared for the Ajani the Exposer.
Sorry, bro. I'm the type of nigga stand on business, nigga. One man arm against 50, nigga.
Betty, bring me everyone. What do you mean everyone? Everyone!
Go get him. Go get every last Zesty Jeffrey y'all know. Line them up. Let's do this 20v1. The Zesty Jeffries love me. They love me. Najee's in the building, right? So since we talking so much about the Zesty Jeffries, I think I kind of know where my first idea of where Michael Jordan wasn't so great came from, right? And you know, like I said, back to the whole OKC Thunder thing, people are not giving them praise. I'm going to give them praise. I don't think anybody can beat them, whether it's the Knicks or the Pacers. So I think the OKC Thunder is about to win an NBA championship. They're about to have a phenomenal season, not only as a team, but the individual play of SGA alone is another historical factor about this OKC team. But this is a small market team. And if the Pacers make the NBA finals and you have the Pacers and the OKC Thunder, these are 2 small market teams who are playing brilliant basketball. Right? They play team basketball. No matter what y'all say, SGA plays team basketball. They play great team basketball in OKC. They play great team basketball in Indiana. They're both great on both sides of the ball. Right? They got dogs on both sides of the ball. So we're going to see a great NBA Finals if we see the 2 small market teams. We all know if the New York Knicks make the NBA Finals, it's apocalypse. It's apocalypse. We already know that. That's an apocalyptic scenario. Right? All right. But back to my stance, and let me bring back your comment here, Zero. Shout out to you, Zero. Yes, at 25 years old, I got a 25-year-old daughter. She was born at the end of 1999, so she's going to turn 26 at the end of this year. If you were not born before the Twin Towers dropped, before the 2000s, I'm not going to argue basketball with you, bruh. And I'm going to explain it to you guys very simple and plain, because like I said, I'm about to turn 44 years old, man. And I'm, you know, I've been there, done that. I've experienced a lot. I've seen a lot. And one of the most fondest memories of my basketball time and my basketball era was the Chicago Bulls losing the 1990 Eastern Conference Finals. And the reason I remember that is because I have an older brother. He's a few years older than me, and I always looked up to my older brother, right? He was a big-time Michael Jordan guy. Right, because he was born in the late 70s, mid 70s. So anybody born in that point in time, Michael Jordan was the guy. That's who you saw, right? So my brother was a big time Jordan guy, and I also had uncles who loved basketball and they loved Michael Jordan as well. And I remember them upset, very upset that the Bulls lost that Game 7 versus the Detroit Pistons in that Eastern Conference Finals game. And I remember them talking even bad about Scottie Pippen, saying Scottie Pippen didn't show up. Scottie Pippen, man, they could. And the reason they were really upset, because again, ladies and gentlemen, this was the third time the Chicago Bulls lost. And this is a Game 7. Everybody was thinking this is the time. This is when the Bulls are going to ascend. This is Michael Jordan's time to take the Bulls. And they didn't do it. And in fact, I got actual evidence of why. And not evidence why, but I got actual, just so y'all can understand the sentiments of what's going on. This is 1990. I'm about 9 years old. So this is my fondest memory, my oldest memory, not my fondest, but my oldest memory of anything basketball related when it comes to the NBA. This is the only thing I can remember as a child. And I was about 9 years old. This is 1990, ladies and gentlemen. Eastern Conference Finals.
With the shot clock down to 1. Mark McGuire brings it back outside. Well, Phil Jackson said,
now the volume is real low, but you can see the Bulls are getting blown out.
For the Pistons, nothing but another world championship will do. And they, the Detroit Pistons, will meet the Portland Trail Blazers in the best of 7 beginning Tuesday night on CBS.
Now, mind you, that's who the Bulls have to go face, the Blazers. So that means if Michael Jordan wins this game, he gets to face Clyde Drexler in NBA Finals. And as you can see here, guys are walking off the court. Some guys are shaking hands. And this is the weirdest part. Why is Michael Jordan getting the actual praise right here? Look at this. This is Isaiah Thomas walking up the mic. Mike didn't walk up to Isaiah. Remember that. Isaiah walked up the mic. But Mike is getting the post-game interview. He lost.
All you can do is wish them good luck. I mean, we fought hard. They were the better team. We went to a 7-game series. What more can we ask for? We want to be where they are, but we still got to win our turn. We're still trying to improve our team. They were the better team, and they played better today.
What's your emotion now, Michael? Sadness, frustration?
Sadly, I'm disappointed, because I wanted to go further. But I got to accept the season that we played. We had a good season. We got this far. We got to look forward to next season. That's the only thing we can do.
Gave it a hell of a run.
Thank you. Vern? Davey did. 31 points.
What is this? Why are they interviewing Mike? No wonder why Isaiah don't like this man. They interviewed Mike. Mike didn't even win. I don't even understand this. How did Mike get interviewed? Look at this. This is deplorable. This is horrible. The player of the game was Isaiah. They didn't interview Isaiah. The player of the game was Isaiah Thomas, but they didn't interview Isaiah. But that was my earliest memory of basketball. That's my earliest memory of basketball. I remember my uncles being upset and my cousins, my brother, because they all liked the Chicago Bulls. Not the Chicago Bulls necessarily, but Michael Jordan. And they thought this was Michael Jordan's ascension. This was his time. It was a Game 7. He had lost to Detroit 2 years prior to this. This is his time. He was lighting up the NBA. Like I told y'all, Michael Jordan was lighting it up in the playoffs. And this was his time, and he choked. Like I told y'all, he choked. Even in there, if you listen to the commentary again in there, you'll hear the guy say Michael Jordan had one less point than his average in that game, the series average in that game. Michael Jordan didn't step up in a Game 7. They're going to blame Scottie Pippen. But that's my fondest, not my fondest, but my earliest memory of the NBA. And that's my earliest memory of saying to myself, why y'all all going crazy over this dude Mike then? He must not be that dude, right? Because that's what I was thinking in my mind. And in reality, back then, I was kind of like a football fan. I liked the Hurricanes. That was when the Hurricanes was one of the top teams in college football. They had the swag. I had just moved down here to Miami from New York. So I was a kid at this. So I can't even give y'all any experience of this. I'm 19 years old. What the hell do I know? I didn't even have pubic hair. I didn't even have pubic hair. But that is my oldest, fondest memory of basketball as far as being a fan. And then later on, obviously, as I grow, I go to play outside, right? Because when I lived in New York, we barely went outside New York. I don't know how people do it. There's 2-3 months out the year, 5 months out the year. You can't go outside. It's too cold. South Florida it's all great weather. There's grass. We couldn't believe it. I was running around playing football, basketball. There was a park right down the street from the house, so we could just play basketball. We used to run to the basketball court, play football on the side, play basketball. So I fell in love with basketball. I didn't have a team. But again, remember we talked about the Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets came in 1989. Well, what made me a real basketball fan as far as an NBA fan was Larry Johnson and the Charlotte Hornets. And the Charlotte Hornets were a very, very exciting team for some reason in the 90s. And they just had this aura about them. And there was something about them that just fit with most people, and it fit with me as a child. And I love it. And what basically happened was the Charlotte Hornets became an NBA franchise. They had an expansion draft. They pick up a Muggsy Bogues. They pick up a Dale Curry in this draft. Their first ever draft was Rex Chapman, their first ever pick overall in the first round. They picked up Rex Chapman. I believe that's the 1990 draft. And in 1991, they draft Larry Johnson. And Larry Johnson's coming from UNLV. There's a big hype team. Everybody was talking about how great UNLV was. He was the top player there. So he gets drafted to there, and then you get the slam dunk contest of 1992. right? And this guy was marketed well. And this is why I wanted to bring this up about the small market teams, right? Because as garbage as the Charlotte Hornets was, the way they marketed Larry Johnson to us, you would think they're on the rise. They're a great team. Everything's gonna go well with this team. And nobody was talking about anybody being trash. Nobody was called trash back then. So it's very easy as me as a child to gravitate to an NBA player like a Larry Johnson, or to gravitate to what other NBA player, because they never really trashed NBA players of that era. They never did it. They never did it. So I fell in love with Larry Johnson because I saw Larry Johnson in the slam dunk contest. That changed my mind. That was the whole big thing. It was all about what he did in the slam dunk contest. And it's so crazy because I'm going to show you what he did in the slam dunk contest. And mind you, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about 1992. I was 11 years old, 10 years old at this time, right? So this is Larry Johnson in the slam dunk contest, which I think he got robbed of. And I don't even remember watching where I watched this at, because I don't even know if we had cable, because this was on TNT. But I do remember watching this specific 92 slam dunk contest because Cedric Sabalas won it with the blindfold. And I remember sitting around with a bunch of people talking about it like he's really going to dunk with a blindfold. And we all thought that it was like real, but I guess it was fake. Who knows what it is now? But he won it on a bogus dunk. But this was LJ, and this is what LJ was doing. This is what made me say, "Yo, I want to be like LJ."
Let's see if it'll raise the level of competition. Now Larry Johnson, he's a power dunker.
See, nobody's talked about Larry Johnson tonight. I mean, this guy had the best score in the first round because he's done everything with power and quickness.
They love it over here.
Larry Johnson.
Well, the thing about Larry, the problem with Larry is that he's so quick. See, he does the dunk so quick that you don't get to really appreciate what he's doing. I watch him. He comes on the right side, gets up with power, goes on the other side. Bam! Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Grace for a big man. They haven't seen a big man with that much grace and that much quickness in this league in a long time.
And that's the highest score of the night, 48.6 for Larry Johnson. So these judges were able to see through the quickness.
Yes, and the power.
So that was what Larry Johnson was doing back in 1992, and that was a phenom. Now, mind y'all, we're talking about dunking the basketball, not taking shots, not shooting the ball. Why was dunking popular? Because of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was always dunking. He was great in transition. He was great at attacking the basket, dunking over big defenders, rim protectors, things of that nature. So that's why Larry Johnson was very popular, very easily to be marketed, right? And they were promoting him. He had Converse sneakers, right? He had the gel shoes. Everybody loved it. In fact, I begged my mother to get me some gel shoes and couldn't afford it, could never get me some Larry Johnsons. But dunking was the big thing. And I always said to myself, why did I become a Charlotte Hornet fan instead of a Miami Heat fan at the time? Was because the Heat didn't have nobody at that time. They were running around here with Glenn Rice, who was shooting three-pointers. They really didn't have no above-the-rim high flyers. They run around with Bimbo Coles, Grant Long, Ronnie Cycli. You see what I'm saying? Like, they didn't have the team that the Hornets had. The Hornets had the three-point shooter in Dale Curry. They had the underdog and Muggsy Bogues, which I always loved the underdog story. So I love the idea of Muggsy Bogues. They were picking up guys like Kendall Gill. You see what I'm saying? They had guys like Johnny Newman. They had guys like David Wingate. You know what I'm saying? They eventually picked up Hersey Hawkins, and they've drafted Alonzo Mourning. And I just got enamored with Larry Johnson, though, because Larry Johnson was a freak of nature. He was a power forward that was ahead of his time. He could play inside, outside game. He had a lot going to him, and he was the rise of the NBA at the time. The NBA was promoting a lot of stars. So there was a lot of hype around the Charlotte Hornets and all of that because of the idea of dunking the basketball, not shooting the basketball. And that was around that. And then if we really want to get to it, we'll get to the idea of, like I said, about the whole Charlotte Hornets as well, the whole hype around the Charlotte Hornets. But let me address another GJK member first. Peace and blessings, Anthony Davis. Thank you, brother. It's always a blessing to have you here on a Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. I'm Ajani, the Exposer. We are live on GOAT James Kingdom channel, but we're also multi-streaming on the GOAT James Kingdom page on Instagram. Plus, Lamont is our homeboy, and we are in collaboration with FYF Sports Debate, so we're also live on FYF Sports Debate. So if you're joining us from over there, peace and blessings. Thank you for having fun with me. We're here to have some fun. If you're under 25, you can't talk basketball. You just got to shut up and listen. Shout out to Wayne Gant, another GJK member. Peace and blessings, brother. Thank you for joining me. Let's see here. He say, I shook Larry Johnson's hand. His hand swallowed my whole hand. I could only imagine. Again, he had the athleticism. He had all of that. He had everything going. And again, it was a buzz. The NBA wanted to promote these smaller teams, especially these new franchises like the Heat, like the Hornets, like the Timberwolves, like the Orlando Magics. And these guys were getting all the top picks early in the draft, right? And around that time, so much so that the NBA, when they did the expansion in 1995 for the Grizzlies and the Raptors, that those teams were not allowed to have the number one pick overall to like 2 or 3 years after they were established, because all those teams that came in from the late 80s into the 90s, those 4 teams we're talking about, the Heat, the Hornets, the Timberwolves, and the Magics, were getting all the top picks, and they were racking up players: Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Johnson, Kevin Garnett, right? Glenn Rice. They were picking all these top players because they were always one of the worst teams in the league. This is why we're talking about how the expansion of the NBA watered down the 90s, because again, we talked about the Hornets picking up Dale Curry and Muggsy Bogues, who were bench players on the teams that put them on the expansion draft. But they become starters, right, on the Charlotte Hornets. But if there was no Charlotte Hornets, they would just be riding the pine on the Washington Bullets or whatever other team that Dale Curry was on. But the Charlotte Hornets were on a rise, and as a kid, 9-10 years old, I was enamored with the Charlotte Hornets.
Make way, here comes a bunch of young guns. Johnson, alley-oop.
Shot is blocked by Mourning.
The Charlotte Hornets were the thing.
You were not at a Charlotte Hornets game. You were missing out on something.
It's a three-pointer. The Hornets win.
It's over.
We had Rex Chapman, Kendall Gill, Del Curry.
It was different personalities, top to bottom.
Of course, Larry Johnson, Grandmama, Alonzo Mourning, Muggsy Bogues.
We had national appeal.
But it was something unique about the purple and teal.
It was in to be a Hornet fan.
That team really changed everything for small market teams.
North Carolina is probably better known for stock cars and college basketball, but today pro basketball takes center stage as Charlotte enters a new era.
And so Charlotte and Miami will join the NBA fray for the 1988-89 season.
Honestly, I did not know where Charlotte was. Where is that? Is that West Virginia? Is that Charlottesville? Or no, it's North Carolina. Oh, okay.
North Carolinians knew basketball, but they didn't really know the NBA.
Indeed. Listen, you heard that. David Stern, the commissioner, was like, Charlotte, where is Charlotte at? That shows you how small of a market Charlotte was. Again, this is 30-something years ago, ladies and gentlemen. This is a long time ago. We talk about development in this country as far as the infrastructure. We're talking 1987, 80, 86 when they're trying to get an NBA team. We're talking about 40 years ago in reality when we're talking about that. It's definitely crazy. Yes, he didn't know where the Charlotte Hornets. He didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about big-time stars. Well, Rel, if you're older than me, son, then you're able to talk basketball. But like my boy says right here, my boy Takeable Pond says, if you're 25 or younger, you gotta shut up. You feel me? Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb, you are right. They wouldn't make today's NBA. 100%. Shout out to Juan boy. Larry Johnson gave his back out for the Knicks, man. Stop messing with the Knicks, man. They're trying to pull a Game 7 off right now. They're trying to come back 3-1 right now. Oh my God, you guys are the best. Yes. Peace and blessings, brother. Thank you for that one. I appreciate that. I thank you. But you can see the hype. This is the hype with the Charlotte Hornets, right? Charlotte's pushing 1 million people today, just today. So how many people? What was the population of Charlotte in 1980s, right? So, hey Johnny, do you remember that team in 1991-92? Yeah, but they had Kenny Gadsden. They had. Oh, yes, I remember that team again. Now, I can't say I remember that specific team because, again, I told you I became a fan of the Charlotte Hornets because of Larry Johnson. So when they drafted Larry Johnson and the All-Star game, that was the game. Because I remember after the All-Star game, that next day, we took milk crates. If you guys don't know what milk crates are, these are plastic square cube milk crates where they would put gallons of milk in. It would hold 4 gallons of milk or 8 half gallons of milk, right? But they used to hold 4 gallons of milk, and it was a square crate. and we used to burn the bottom out of the crates so that we had a hole, and then we used to actually tie it up, not tie it up. Well, sometimes we used to tie it up, but if we found somebody who can help us, we would nail it to a tree, and we would use that as a basketball goal. That was our goal. I know y'all know what I'm talking about back in the days. So we did that the next day so that we can dunk the basketball because we wanted to dunk. It was always a thing about dunking. When I was a kid, I remember dunking was the big thing. Nobody cared about shooting the basketball. They all cared about dunking, who could dunk the best. So the next day, we all went outside and we were all trying to replicate the slam dunk contest dunks. And I was out there trying to replicate Larry Johnson, thinking I was Larry Johnson. He had the gold tooth. I was from Miami. Gold teeth is a thing down here from the South. If you know about gold teeth, it was a big thing. So for me, I'm a kid. I'm looking up to the older kids, the teenagers, the high schoolers. They got gold teeth in their mouth. They got they got all the fresh fades with all the designs in it. I was into that as a kid. I'm 9, 10 years old, 11 years old. But see, I didn't have no one telling me, oh, Larry Johnson's a bum ass nigga. You shouldn't be liking Larry Johnson. What that nigga ever did? Didn't he choke in the college game? We didn't have people talking like that. We didn't have people saying Rex Chapman was a bum when they were drafting Rex Chapman. They had nobody saying Muggsy Bogues was too small. I mean, they were saying he was too small, but nobody was talking about these dudes like they were bums. And everybody allowed me to be that. Everybody was like Larry Johnson this, John Starks this, Sean Kemp that, because Sean Kemp was also in that slam dunk contest as well. He went off in that slam dunk contest. That's why a lot of people felt Cedric Ceballos shouldn't have won it. But either way, that was what I was going through. And like I said, I was a big-time Larry Johnson fan. He was a big-time dude. He was it, man. You guys don't understand how big Larry Johnson was. Let me give some more shout-outs to some GJK members. Shout out to you, Marcus. Peace and blessings, brother. I always see you in the comments. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was somewhat of a fan of those Hornets as well. Kendall Gill had some cold moments. I actually met Kendall Gill. If you could say met Kendall Gill. I used to work at an airport very young in my life. And obviously working at the airport, you get to run across people all the time. And I ran across him. He just walked past me and I was like, oh shit, Kendall Gill. He was like, yeah, what's good, brother? And he just kept walking. But he wasn't trying to communicate about that. But that's what it was though back then. Players you were able to appreciate players. NBC was talking great about the players because remember ESPN at the time was only giving you the highlights. They didn't have time to break down why a player was choking. They just went down to the highlights, and whatever you did great, that's what you got presented every night, every day. Everything was the way it was going. So yeah, brother, I'm taking everybody down memory lane because again, I'm 44. And again, I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a great time today. You know what I'm saying? This is where I have to address some of these SD Jeffries because they think I'm like 30 or something like that. They think I was born in 2000 or something like that. I don't know. I know I look fresh and clean. This young man look good, but damn, I do got a gray hair though. I do got a gray hair right here coming out of my mustache. I really do. I am getting old, ladies and gentlemen. I'm 44. 44. Let me take you back to memory lane and show you why I fell in love with my boy Larry Johnson.
They're the number one pick, so here's the best player on this great team.
Great college career, a tremendous amount of hoopla coming in. And it
has been the Larry Johnson Show.
We laid the foundation, myself, Muggs, Dell, Johnny Newman, but you had to get all-star caliber players. And LJ was our first all-star caliber player.
What are you going to do for the Charlotte Hornets? Well, I'm going to go in. I'm gonna basically offer the Charlotte Hornets that I offered, the previous teams I played on. Hard work. I'm going in doing whatever the coach asked me to do, whatever my teammates need me to do, and, just try to win.
Alley-oop. What a play by Larry Johnson.
Best player I've ever played with, high school, college, or pro. I saw Larry Johnson just take every big man to school.
And here's Larry Johnson.
The guy who was 250 pounds, 6'7", had the grace of a ballerina, could shoot it, had the strength of Shaquille O'Neal, and he knew when to use it.
This is where it's done. This is the gym. Barkley.
Then you take that and you add his personality to it.
No pain, no gain. Malone. That'll work on the guns, right?
So that man, listen, man, Larry Johnson was that dude. He had the grandmama personality working for himself. He was marketable. He was that dude. He was a star. He won Rookie of the Year, 1992. He was all rookie team in 1992. I think he was the first team. He also made an all-star the next year, 1993, and in 1994. He was averaging 20 and 10. For the first part of his career, he was a monster, right? He was a monster. But the thing again, like I'm saying, is that the growth of the NBA of the time and the idea of these small market teams like the Charlotte Hornets, like the Minnesota Timberwolves, sort of like Orlando, which was growing as a city as well, right? Because of Disney. These things was what the NBA wanted to market. They set new rules up, right? Because remember, there was the collective bargain agreement going into the 1992 season, which is in the 1991 off season. They corrected all of that stuff. They got a lot of stuff together. They made sure that these small market teams could hold their stars, like a Larry Johnson. That guys like the Miami Heat could hold the Glenn Rices. Guys like the Orlando Magic could hold the Shaquille O'Neals and do all of these things. These were the NBA promoting small market teams, which allowed us to have a broader perspective of fans in the NBA at that time. It wasn't just enamored with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. There were fans like me who was enamored with the Charlotte Hornets and Larry Johnson. There was other fans for other teams and other stars that were coming in the league. So this is how I became an NBA fan. I didn't become an NBA fan being enamored with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Because like I told you, my first experience of an NBA a game or any NBA fandom was watching Jordan fans cry because Jordan choked in the Eastern Conference Finals versus Detroit again. So in my mind, I wasn't really thinking about Michael Jordan. I was just thinking about just being a kid, enjoying life. And here comes the Charlotte Hornets. Here comes Larry Johnson. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. And that's when I started paying attention to basketball. That's when I became a big-time basketball fan. And those are all facts, ladies and gentlemen. Like, that's just me. That's who I am. Again, I turned 44 today. If you were born in the 2000s, you cannot talk basketball with me. Let me bring Anthony and see what he got to say. Larry Johnson at UNLV was national sensations. That led to his popularity. Larry was the man on the great team. But didn't they choke in college? Because I wasn't really a fan. They didn't win a championship, right? Because I remember the UNLV team. They had Stacey Augmon. They had Greg Anthony, right? That was before the Fab Five, if I'm correct. The Fab Five took it to another level because they changed the fashion of basketball. But I think that was right before then. But if I'm correct, they lost to Duke because I was a Duke fan. I liked Grant Hill, Bobby Hurley, and Christian Laettner and them. I liked that Duke team from the early 90s because I remember – because, see, this is another thing you guys don't remember. Video games was different back then as well. The NBA didn't license their players and teams to video games. So, like, the early basketball games I remember like playing was an NCAA game on the Super Nintendo, and I used to like playing with Duke, and they didn't even have the players' names. The first basketball games didn't have players' names. I think the first basketball game that had actual NBA teams and names was Lakers versus Celtics, which was an EA Sports game. Back in the day, we're talking about a long time ago, ladies and we're talking about over 30 years ago. This is what we're here to have fun. We're here talking about almost 30 years ago. They win in 1990. Okay, so they did win a championship. Okay, so I was wrong there. They won a championship in 1990. Okay, so I apologize. I wasn't wrong there. So I was wrong on that. Again, I'm 9 years old. I don't remember that. I wasn't watching basketball at 9 years old, let alone college basketball. I do remember, like I said, my fondest memory of not my fondest memory, but my earliest memory was Jordan losing to Detroit Pistons. Then I remember the 1992 Slam Dunk Contest. And I'm gonna break it down for you guys. So I actually got. Jordan versus Bird was on NES as well, but it was Jordan versus Bird. There was no NBA teams. It was a one-on-one thing. And the funny thing about it was the Celtics and the Lakers game had the Bulls and all the NBA teams, but they didn't have Michael Jordan in it. Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley were like the two players that were never in any basketball game back in those days. But they still had them in the game. They just didn't put their names. They still had the same likeness, the same look. Right? I mean, listen. If I showed y'all some games, that would be crazy. Okay, they lost in 91 to Duke. See, I remember that. I remember that Duke game. I remember the Duke winning and winning a championship versus them. I don't remember 1990. So that shows you again my fandom. I'm there, bro. I'm out there. You see what I'm saying? It would say, yeah, player. The name was player. It would say player. Exactly. The name would say player. That's all it would say. I can see my boy GoCast is old school. He was born in the 1900s. Yes, Bulls versus the Blazers were another game that came out. It was Lakers versus Celtics, Bulls versus Lakers, Bulls versus Blazers. These were the early NBA basketball games on Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis. These were 16-bit. I believe it was 16-bit. 16 bits. That's crazy. Shout out to you, GoCast. That boy said he voted just like me. We voted vote. But I got something special for you, Zesty Jeffries. If like I always tell you guys, everything we do in GOAT James Kingdom is recorded. And if there's any moment in time you want to have something on Ajani, this is the moment right here. I'm going to give it to you. It'll be up here for several minutes because we're going to have some fun. I'm going to actually put the link up for y'all, and we're going to have some fun. But remember I told y'all I was a big-time Charlotte Hornets fan. This is my thing. So this is why I wanted to bring up tonight's show about the whole small market team is that the Charlotte Hornets actually save small markets. If there was any blueprint or any design to help a team understand as a small market team, how do you market yourself for a national appeal, it was the Charlotte Hornets. They had a national appeal. They were a big-time team. People remember the Charlotte Hornets. So much so that the Charlotte Hornets, they remember back in those days, and they still have it to this day, back in those days, there was a company called Starter Cap, but Starter used to make these jackets. And the most popular starter jacket was the Dallas Cowboys starter jacket and the Charlotte Hornets. Imagine that. Not the Chicago Bulls, not the New York Knicks, not no other franchise, not the Giants. The number two, the two top selling starter jackets of the 90s was the Dallas Cowboys starter jacket and the Charlotte Hornets jacket. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you Zesty Jeffrey something that you can run with. Hit the record button. This is taking you back to the 90s. I'm bringing it back, ladies and gentlemen. I got something special for you. I'm going to show you how long I've been a Charlotte Hornet fan. Ladies and gentlemen, that is me to the right in the 6th grade. That is, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is me to the right in the 6th grade. And I had one of those starter jackets. I had one of those Charlotte Hornets shirt. In fact, you can look right there and clearly see that I'm wearing a Charlotte Hornets shirt. This is me in the 6th grade. This is me in the 6th grade, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck all y'all laughing in the comments, goddammit. Fuck every single last one of y'all. Every last one of y'all. Fuck y'all for laughing in the comments. Fuck you, Ashante. Fuck you. See, you know what? That's what I was going to say, Malcolm. I knew I had the white one. There was a white version of this one, right? I had the white one of this one. I had the white one of this one. I really did. I really, really did. Listen, man, stop laughing at me. Eventually, I got that taken care of. But I'm like 12, 13 years old. This is 6th grade right here. Yeah, shout out to you. Fuck you too, Zero. All right, fuck you too. All right, because you motherfuckers love to make fun of motherfuckers, but y'all not man enough to do this. This is what I'm trying to explain to y'all. I'm man enough to put myself out on the public like this. You feel me? Because I'm a real basketball fan. I'm a real basketball fan. Fuck you too, Asante. Fuck you. Forget every last one of y'all. Every last one of y'all. All right? My mama took care of that. Shout out to my mama. She paid for it. I got taken care of. They used to call me Bucky. That was my name. I got the name called Bucky. If anybody's old enough to know what I'm talking about, there's a show called Captain Bucky O'Hare. And that was what I was named in my neighborhood. And I was called that as a ridicule. And it stuck with me because, again, I don't take things funny. Fuck you too, Dante. Okay? Fuck you motherfuckers. All right? Fuck every single last one of y'all. But that is me, bro. That is honestly, somebody sent me this the other day. And I don't know how he found this, but he must have it. So that whoever has this damn yearbook from my 6th grade year has this picture of me. This is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. This is me. Again, this is me back in 1993, 94. As you can see, I got a Charlotte Hornets shirt on. That's my 6th grade picture. I was a big-time Charlotte Hornet fan. Big-time Charlotte Hornet fan. I really was. I was a big-time Charlotte Hornet fan. I really was. Fuck all of y'all laughing in the comments. I really don't care. Fuck y'all, man. I really don't care about y'all. You remember that show, Go Cash? You got me. You remember that show, Captain Bucky over here? But again, ladies and gentlemen, this is who I am. This is what I'm about, man. I've been doing this for a long, long time. I played basketball. I'm a basketball fan. That's just what it is. I'm from Miami, and basketball has always been a part of my life since the beginning. You say looking like a young Bruce Leroy. For real though, man. For real though, man. Yeah. Well, again, like I said, Zesty Jeffries, if you need some ammo, this is the ammo. If you want to make fun of a 12-year-old kid, go ahead, have fun at it. You ain't man enough to handle this. You ain't man enough to handle it. Cause see, this is how I look now. You see the prettiness. You see the gorgeousness. You see the handsomeness. You see God in reflection right in front of your face. This is what you see. This is all you see right here. This is what you see. But I've been a big time fan. But again, that's the young me. Okay, that's the young me. That's me 30-something years ago enjoying life, right? That's the young me. I've grown. I've matured. Like I said, I got a 25-year-old daughter. I got a 5-year-old grandson. Shout out to my daughter. Shout out to my baby boy. And again, shout out to everybody who support what I do. I gave you guys something. And he said, who is that? He said, who is that? Fuck you too. Peter Bag Juice, you don't got your membership badge. You did it for a month. Fuck you too. Okay? Fuck you too. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, that's who I was. I was a big-time Charlotte Hornet fan. So I'm going to recap to you my NBA fandom because I'm a grown man now. I'm 44 years old. I've seen it all. I've witnessed a lot of things in my life. And one of the things I've witnessed is obviously, like I told you, starting from 1990, the Chicago Bulls lose again. Why? Because Michael Jordan can't get the Bulls into the NBA Finals. Right? He just couldn't do it. They choked for the third straight year versus the Detroit Pistons. Right? Then you have the 1991, right, season. Now, my fondest memory of that is obviously the finals. Michael Jordan steps up. The Bulls finally win their first NBA championship. Magic Johnson retires after the NBA Finals due to catching HIV, which was a big thing back then. It was almost a death sentence. You catch HIV, you're going to get AIDS, you die. That was what it was back in the early 90s, late 80s. Magic Johnson was one of the biggest stories I remember as a child. I remember my uncles and them crying about Magic Johnson because Magic Johnson he was loved. He was beloved. All right. Even him doing what he did then. Imagine we talking about the downfall and the cancel culture of the 2000s. Right. Could you imagine how Magic would have been portrayed if he would have been caught doing what he got caught in 1991? But that was also a fond memory of mine. Like I told you, 1992, the All-Star Slam Dunk Contest. That's when I saw Larry Johnson. I fell in love with NBA basketball from there on out. Then I remember 1994. I don't really remember Michael Jordan retiring too much because I really didn't care about the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. I really didn't care too much about the Bulls. They won 3 championships in a row. I do remember the 93 finals with Charles Barkley. It was a great finals, but the Bulls were 3-time champions. Everybody knew they were dominant. It was Jordan's time, and that is what it is. He retired. In 1994, the NBA finals was live. You had the New York Knicks, and the reason that I had a good memory of the New York Knicks in 1994 was because I had New York Knicks fans in my family. My godfather and uncle was a big-time New York Knicks fan. Other uncles in my family were big-time New York Knicks fans. We watched the finals in our living room. Again, you only had one big TV in the house at that time. More than likely, it was in your living room. Everybody sat there and watched it. TV was so limited at the time that during the NBA Finals, they cut out of the NBA Finals to talk about O.J. Simpson, who was in a car chase. They were trying to arrest O.J. Simpson, and he went on a car chase. They cut out of the NBA Finals, in the middle of the NBA Finals, for us to watch O.J. on the highway, and that was a crazy scene back in the days. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the 90s was a spectacular era. There's so much things that happened in the 90s. Then you have 1995. This is when Michael Jordan returns. I remember Michael Jordan return. Everybody going crazy. They couldn't wait to see Michael Jordan. His sneakers was at its height. He had just dropped, I think it was the 11s this year or the 10s. And then you had Shaq, who was also supremely popular. I remember Shaq was a big-time star. He was doing movies. He had his sneakers coming out. Shaq was a star of all stars. In 1995, Shaq really made a name for himself. So I do remember Shaq. In 96, I remember the finals, but I remember it being something about Rodman because Rodman was just doing things in the finals that nobody saw. He was out here rebounding, doing all kind of weird stuff. He wasn't spectacular, but he was just talked about the most in those finals, right? So I do remember that. Then we also have the last shot in 1998. Now, between 1996 and 1998, ladies and gentlemen, I won a Boys and Girls Club championship in Broward County, Florida. We were the NBA champions, the Davie Boys and Girls Club. I was the best rebounder on our team. So in 1997, I remember that. I was a champion, all right? None of you Jesse Jeffries could say that, right? But I also remember playing a game called In the Zone 2. And they had a game called In the Zone 2 that was one of the most, I would say, the most revolutionary games in basketball, because they had NBA Live, but NBA Live was a weird game. The guys used to slide and fly like Luigi and Mario 2, right? NBA In the Zone changed everything. They used to really make players, like that was the game where players could dunk from the free throw line. It was an incredible game. I remember, if you don't remember a basketball game, go look it up. It was called In the Zone 2. It was from Konami Sports. But between that time, I also remember Michael Jordan's last shot in 1998. We all know Michael Jordan was phenomenal with what he did in the NBA Finals in 1998. It was supposedly the last run for the Bulls, and Michael Jordan won it with the last shot. I do remember that, and me saying to myself at that time as a fan, there's no reason to hate on Michael Jordan. This is the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. I remember saying that in 1998. I've never seen nobody greater than Michael Jordan. He just kept winning, and he kept shocking people. Everybody wanted him to lose, but he just kept winning. Then I remember the 1999 finals for the same reason the 94 finals. My New York Knicks family. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, Twain Gant. I'm not gonna lie. NBA Live 1996 NBA Live was an incredible basketball game. That was an incredible basketball game. But that was my fondest memories of the 90s. But going into the 2000s, I remember the Portland Trail Blazers and the Lakers. I remember that the Portland Trail Blazers on the verge of making the NBA Finals and coughing up a game versus the Lakers and losing that series. But the key moment for me as an NBA fan was going to my first NBA game, and that was in the 2001-2002 season. At the end of the season, the Heat were a scrub team. My homeboy and I got some tickets to go to a game. We went to a game. And I fell in love with basketball for real, because I got to see the players play live in my face, not on television, and I saw something different. I saw basketball. I saw some real dudes balling. I was like, yo, this is incredible. And it was Miami versus Orlando, two scrub teams, but the game was fun. The atmosphere was great, and I fell in love with the NBA for real at that time. And mind you, I'm 21 years old at the time. So I'm old enough to remember this specifically. And then at the same time, that was the last year for the Charlotte Hornets, because at that time, the Charlotte Hornets moved to New Orleans. They became the New Orleans Hornets, and I wasn't interested in changing teams. Because I went to go watch the Miami Heat play, and I fell in love with basketball then, I said, you know what? I'm going to start rooting for the Heat because I can go to Heat games. At the time, the Heat was not a good team. They had just drafted Caron Butler in the first round, early first round pick, lottery pick in 2002. And from there, I remember being a basketball fan. They drafted Dwayne Wade in 2003, right? And they also added Lamar Odom in 2003. So I was joining the Miami Heat at a good time. And I even remember going to go see Michael Jordan's last game in Miami. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I saw Michael Jordan play when he was a Washington Wizard. I don't know if any Zesty Jeffries can say that. So the Miami Heat team became the team that I fell in love with. I fell in love with Eddie Jones, Caron Butler. Then they got rid of Eddie Jones. They added Lamar Odom, Dwayne Wade. Then I lucked up and got Shaquille O'Neal in 2004 because of Kobe Bryant and his enamoredness to score and to be a stat patter. They got rid of Shaquille in LA, and we were able to luckily get him. And the reason why I bring up the Lamar Odom situation is because if the Miami Heat don't sign Lamar Odom in 2003, they don't have the actual pieces to trade for Shaquille O'Neal in 2004. And then we end up winning a championship in 2006 because of Shaquille O'Neal. Then at the end of my greatness, is for y'all to understand, y'all would know everything after 2010. Y'all already know the history. 2010, LeBron James joins my Miami Heat. And that's how I became a Miami Heat fan, starting in 2002 season. So that's my history as an NBA fan. That's where I come from. That's my background. That's what I do. I mean, y'all see the history. I've been there, done that. So if you're not over 25 years old, you can't come in here telling me anything about the game of basketball because you're not old enough. That's just a fact. You're just not old enough. So I'm gonna put the link up for anybody who wants to join me. and we can have a conversation. You can tell me about your basketball era, or we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, because I'm here to have fun. Like I said, I'm celebrating my 44th birthday this weekend. I'm a Gemini, and this is a time of celebration for me. I usually celebrate my birthday weekends in style. So I'm going to have me some fun, man. I see y'all in the comments. Like I said, I bring y'all back into history. Like I told you, I brought y'all back to my fondest memories of basketball, my earliest memories of basketball. And it really starts off with Michael Jordan losing in the Eastern Conference Finals versus the Detroit Pistons.
Couldn't wriggle out of it. With the shot clock down to 1, Mark McGuire brings it back outside. Well, Phil Jackson said yes, this will be considered a successful season for the Bulls. They went one game farther. For the Pistons, nothing but another world championship will do. And they, the Detroit Pistons, will meet the Portland Trail Blazers in the best of 7 beginning Tuesday night on CBS. This stifling Detroit Piston defense holds the Chicago Bulls to 28 of 90, 31%. But Michael Jordan had 31, and he's with Pat O'Brien.
Right. Vern, Michael Jordan here in the midst of the celebration. What are you saying to the other players, Mike?
All you can do is wish them good luck. I mean, you know, we fought hard. You know, they were the better team. We went to a 7-game series. What more can we ask for? You know, we want to be where they are, but we still got to wait our turn. We're still trying to improve our team. They were the better team, and they played better today.
What's your emotion now, Michael? Sadness, frustration?
You know, sadly, I'm disappointed, you know, because I wanted to go further. But I got to accept the season that we played. We had a good season. We got this far. We got to look forward to next season. That's the only thing we can do.
Gave it a hell of a run.
Thank you.
Vern?
Indeed he did. 31 points to lead the Bulls. That's just one below his series average. And in the locker room, Mark Aguirre, Bill Lambier, and our Miller Lite player of the game, Isaiah Thomas, tonight.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Isaiah Thomas beat Michael Jordan. I see some of y'all in the background. I'll bring y'all up shortly. Let's continue this so y'all can see about my fandom, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I was a big-time Charlotte Hornet fan. That's why I started liking basketball. And again, it started with the hype of the Charlotte Hornets back in the days. A small market team just trying to build their franchise up, just like the OKC Thunder is doing right now to be the greatest team that we've probably seen in the last several years, because they're probably one of the best teams we've seen since the 2020 Lakers, if not the Warriors. But I became a fan watching this Charlotte Hornet team.
Make way. Here comes a bunch of young guns. Johnson, alley-oop.
The Charlotte Hornets were the thing.
You were not at a Charlotte Hornets game. You were missing out on something.
It's a three-pointer. The Hornets win. It's over.
We had Rex Chapman, Kendall Gill, Phil Curry.
It was different personalities, top to bottom.
Of course, Larry Johnson, Grandmama, Alonzo Mourning, Muggsy Bogues.
We had national appeal.
But it was something unique about the purple and teal.
It was in to be a Hornet fan.
That team really changed everything for small market teams.
North Carolina is probably better known for stock cars and college basketball, but today pro basketball takes center stage as Charlotte enters a new era.
And so Charlotte and Miami will join the NBA fray for the 1988-89 season.
Honestly, I did not know where Charlotte was. Where is that? Is that West Virginia? Is that Charlottesville? Or no, it's North Carolina. Oh, okay.
North Carolinians knew basketball, but they didn't really know the NBA.
Oh yeah, the NBA was new to a lot of people. It was new to me as well. I didn't know nothing about the NBA at the time. I was just a kid. Look at me, just a small kid from I wouldn't even consider myself from Miami then, but I was just a kid in Miami, appreciating life, just having fun, and I couldn't wait to be like Larry Johnson, because Larry Johnson was that dude.
They're the number one pick, so here's the best player on this great team.
Great college career. A tremendous amount of hoopla coming in. And
it has been the Larry Johnson Show.
We laid the foundation, you know, myself, Muggs Dale, Johnny Newman, but you had to get all-star caliber players. And LJ was our first all-star caliber player.
So what are you going to do for the Charlotte Hornets?
Well, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna basically offer the Charlotte Hornets that I offered, the previous teams I played on. Hard work. I'm going in doing whatever the coach asked me to do, whatever my teammates need me to do, and just try to win.
Best player I've ever played with, high school, college, or pro. I saw Larry Johnson just take every big man to school.
And here's Larry Johnson.
The guy who was 250 pounds, 6'7", had the grace of a ballerina, could shoot it, had the strength of Shaquille O'Neal, and he knew when to use it.
This is where it's done. This is the gym. Barkley.
Then you take that and you add his personality to it.
No pain, no gain. Malone. That'll work on the guns, right?
Yeah, man, that's how it was, man. Shout out to King Rose Speech, who's in the building. Peace and blessings, brother. It's good, brother. Go ahead and
happy birthday, by the way. Happy early
appreciate
birthday,
that, man. Thank you, sir.
I love that you doing this show because you rolling up, and I see why you doing it. You know what I mean? You didn't start watching in 2010, right? You didn't start watching. No, real talk. You're giving indirectly. You're giving MJ your props, right? And look, you saw MJ in that interview. He didn't throw his team under the bus. He took accountability, and he called the Pistons the better team. Now, yes, that was CBS interviewing him because that was their last chance to interview him because, as you know, the Packers were going over to NBC the next year. And NBC did all of that. So that was their last chance to, I guess, interview Jordan. So they knew the Pistons were going to the finals. They would get Isaiah in anyway. You understand what I'm saying? So, but the league, right? See, this is the thing. For everybody that talks about how expansion watered down the league, remember the Heat, Magic, the Timberwolves, and the Charlotte all came in those 2 years. And within a few years, all those teams, remember, as I said, 91, 92, the last piece they needed was Zoe, and then they became a legit playoff team for about 3-4 years. You understand what I'm saying? So they all slowly built up. The Heat had Ronnie Cycli, Sherman Douglas. They got Glenn Rice.
You say Sherman Douglas. I remember Sherman Douglas.
Sherman Douglas was so underrated, bro. He was just so steady. And my little one in the background, but he was steady, bro. Sherman Douglas was a steady point guard.
Oh my God, that's hilarious, bro.
Matt Geiger. Matt Geiger wound up rolling around.
You said Matt Geiger. Oh my God.
You had Walker Kessler's uncle, Alec Kessler. R.I.P. to him.
Leave it up to you, King. Leave it up to you, King Speech Road.
That's why when y'all talk about these teams, I knew these teams. I knew the players on the team, and I knew how the teams attack. You know, so that's why I can talk 90s basketball. Some of these cats don't. But at the end of the day, the fact that, again, Magic, Bird, and Jordan, the league was now blowing up. It was expanding. It was you could put basketball in new markets. So that was healthy for the league. So when y'all use the expansion watered down era, that's not a
But the problem is that, like you said, when you got the teams like the Charlotte Hornets, the Orlando Magics, and the Timberwolves, and all these teams getting all these top early picks, the teams like the Detroit Pistons, the Lakers, the Boston Celtics that were running throughout the 90s, the Philadelphia 76ers. Now the teams that are good teams are no longer eligible to get these star players anymore. The league started making sure it made it hard to stack talent. See what I'm saying?
I'll say this though. Remember why the Lakers and the Celtics, have you ever thought to yourself, why did the Lakers have the first pick 3 times in between like Magic? Then they had Worthy in 82 because they were joking teams. Like, remember in 76 how they got Magic? They traded to the New Orleans Jazz. Remember, they didn't do lottery protected or for top 5 protected, or we're trading your first round pick. So when the Lakers traded Gail Goodrich to New Orleans in 76, that pick turned into 79 Magic Johnson.
Exactly. All kind of crazy stuff. They got Worthy off the same thing. They got Worthy off the same thing.
So
exactly.
Red Auerbach and it was West and the other guy that was running the Lakers. They were killing everybody, because these smaller market teams like New Orleans and whoever got remember Red Auerbach beat up Golden State. He got Parrish and McHale The year after the Bird won the championship, they had the Celtics had the first pick. They traded back to the third pick because Joe Barry Carroll was the big star coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They traded back and got Parrish and McHale for Joe Barry Carroll. Now, at the time, Joe Barry Carroll was the man, right? Everybody thought from Purdue he was going to be like, he was Ralph Sampson before Ralph Sampson. Problem was he was late. He was talented, but he was lazy. Now, Parrish was in New Orleans, was in Golden State for like 4 years. He had the reputation of being lazy too. But then you added McHale, who nobody knew, the third pick, and he came as the sixth man. And now, next thing you know, Boston got a squad with Bird, Parrish, McHale, the best front court of all time.
That's the 80s. That's 80s basketball. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You got to slow down these dynasties because, again, Red Auerbach was so much smarter than everybody. Jerry West was so much, and whoever was running with the Lakers was so much smarter than everybody. They were joking these teams so they could stack a Worthy on top of a Magic and Kareem. And then they got Byron Scott the same way. He was the fourth pick in the draft. So they was killing it through the draft, and these other teams didn't know hey, we got to keep our draft picks so we can get a.
No, it's not only that. They can't. No, because they couldn't afford it. Again, the league didn't have the money. That's the thing. So now there was no revenue. So now you get a new revenue from NBC, which allows these small market teams to be able to pay guys like Alonzo Mourning, to pay guys like a Larry Johnson, and still to a certain degree they still couldn't afford them, but it still helped the league market and promote the players. So that was the whole point of all of this, was to show how these small market teams that the NBA was bringing into the league, that were already existing in the league, they were. If you want to know how teams were. If you need a blueprint, like I said, the Charlotte Hornets was it, because somehow the Charlotte Hornets became that national sensation. People didn't care if they weren't making the playoffs or not. As a matter of fact, I remember when they won their first playoff series. I think they beat Boston in the playoffs. It was a big thing. It was a big thing. So again, nobody was out here knocking players. They were appreciating the errors and stuff like that. Yeah. Before I let you go, King Road, please, I want to bring up some other stuff here that some people were talking about here. Somebody's asking here, what do I know about these starter jackets? I know a lot about these starter jackets. These starter jackets, they were there, bro. If you were a 90s kid, you know about these starter jackets, man. Even to the point to my boy Young Africa. Shout out to Young Africa in the building. He's saying that, look, it was in Africa. Young Africa is from Northeast Africa, and he was like, they had these jackets over there, so we knew about all of that. Zesty Jeffries, they got an age limit. If you're under 25, you can't argue with me. I got nothing to say with you, man. Shout out to you, Marcus, again. I see all you guys in the comment. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, and the Hornets, they had a mascot. That was when mascots became big. Mm-hmm. That was another big thing about that. You had the Hornets mascot. And again, I got nothing but respect for players. I just don't got no respect for Zesty Jeffries. Those are just the facts. But I had me one of them jackets, though. But King Ro, I'm going to put you in the background. I'm going to bring up a GJK member, and I got a couple of folks in the background. I'm going to bring you guys up one by one. I appreciate you, King Ro's speech, man. Take care, little man in the background. Let me bring up my boy, Juan Boy. What up, Juan Boy? Peace and blessings, brother.
What's going on, man? Happy birthday.
Thank you, brother. What's good, brother?
I started not to click the link, but then the urge to kill all of that 90s talk he was just doing just was like, yo, you know what? Hit the link, man. Time to destroy that. But in all due respect to the 90s, man, it was what has us, practically talking about basketball, because we invested lots of time into continuing to watch 30-something years later. And some of us were able to, absorb the game of basketball without any narratives, without any bias towards players, because, you was just a fan of the game. Well, that's how I take it. And, now that we comparing errors, it's not because of what the 90s brought to the table, because there's nothing that I have seen since I began watching in 1991 that has been better than 2000 up until now.
Nothing. I agree with you. And
we go from seeing guys like Sean Kemp to go and seeing guy like Amari Stoudemire come out of high school, be the first player out of high school to win Rookie of the Year before LeBron does it. You know what I'm saying? And then 2-3 seasons later, he's a top 5 scorer for the top team in the West. Sean Kemp never did no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And you want to talk about Amari Stoudemire, you got to remember he was in the West. So he's going up in series against Duncan. He's going up against series against Dirk. He's playing against Kevin Garnett. He's going up against Pau Gasol, Andrew Bynum, and Lamar Odom and them. Phoenix didn't have no backup other than him, and he scorched them all. All for microscopic knee surgery.
Hey, hold on. Well, we go one boy. He said what was so crazy about the 2000s. Man, you must be out of your mind, brother. Y'all keep smoking crack. Let me show you what was happening in the 2000s.
This episode of Forgot About Him Fridays, we have none other than Baron Davis. I'm telling y'all, BD was so cold with it. Bro said, I got a little birdie. Where you going? Gave Reggie a smooth In-N-Out burger. And up to that cup. Oh my God. You know the Hezzy was on Hall of Fame. Eric Snow and I can't believe it. Somebody get a Kleenex. We got teardrop. Imagine your point guard backdooring to do this shit right here. I knew KG was going to be a good businessman when he decided not to jump with him. He already knew what it was. You couldn't keep BD off that rim when he was in Charlotte. The In-N-Out cross had him punch drunk Lamy. God damn it, somebody call facilities. We got a slip and fall accident. At this time, BD was damn near a top 3 point guard in the league. Man, give me that. Ain't have not one offensive weakness. God damn, Baron, chill out. Should've shot it. All good though. Hit him with the rondo. Dime. Bro was too quick, too big, and too strong. And if bro got to his launch pad, it was over. God damn. Sorry, T-Mac, ain't nothing over there. And you better not jump. Told Charlie Ward that Heisman cool, but I got a jumper. Mike Bibby, Baron Davis, mano a mano. Don't get it wrong, Bibby was tough, but Baron was different. Bro let him go like I don't even want no problem. They was so scared they had to hug him.
Oh man, that was what was going on in the 2000s, brother. That was what's going on in the 2000s. That was just to start the 2000s. I was so upset. I was so upset when they let the Charlotte Hornets go. I really was.
But how about we also had Steve Francis too?
That's what I'm saying. The 2000s were different than the 90s. The 2000s were different than the 90s.
Point guards getting the ball to the rim with the handles and all that.
Yeah, man. So again, this is again. I'm here having fun. Shout out to all y'all here. Like I said, this is my birthday weekend, so none of you Zesty Jeffries could bother me. I'm just having fun, man. Shout out to you, Najee. Thank you so much. I'm having fun, man. I'm gonna leave you here because you are a GOAT James Kingdom member, one boy. But let me bring up Olo because Olo is always a supporter of the channel. Shout out to you, Olo. What's good, brother? What you got for me today? As you can see, we here talking old school basketball. And first of all, Olo, are you old enough to talk basketball with me?
What's the age limit?
25.
Damn, 3 years under that, man.
Oh my God. Olo, you cool as ever. Go ahead, brother. What you got for me?
All right, so I want to start off by saying happy birthday. I know I'm a baby to the game. I'm a baby to the game. But what was the topic? I'm hearing that we're talking about 2000s, 90s. What's the rap about?
You joined late. So that means you're not a GOAT James Kingdom subscriber. That means you wasn't watching the show from 9 p.m. You started watching the show when Lamont promoted his on his channel, which is about a half an hour, 45 minutes late of the show. The show is about me and my fandom because I was told that I started watching basketball in 2010. And not only that, the idea that the OKC Thunder are not getting their love and respect because they're a small market team. And a lot of people don't want to give them the props for what they are. They're about to do something that we've never seen before. They're about to be historic. And I became a basketball fan predicated on small market teams. I became a basketball fan watching the old Charlotte Hornets play. You saw the clips that I played of the Charlotte Hornets, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how I became an NBA fan, bro. Like that's where my fandom started at. That's where, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have nobody telling me Larry Johnson was a bum. I ain't have nobody tell me none of this nonsense. So I was able to smile in my yearbook picture with a Charlotte Hornet jersey, even though they sucked, because I didn't care. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, because nobody was running around here trying to tell me I can't be a happy basketball fan. I can't like the Charlotte Hornets. I didn't have to be a Michael Jordan, Zesty Jeffrey. I could just be somebody who think Larry Johnson is the dude. You see what I'm saying? So I grew up watching basketball in a good era where people were allowed to be basketball fans. Today, people are making fun of Knicks fans. Why are you making fun of Knicks fans? They're enjoying their basketball team. You're not here. I wish my he was here. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
It's the same. It's the same. And thank you for bringing up the OKC topic. I got a lot to say about that one.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it on my channel, but I want to start with what you were saying about the Knicks fan thing. It's the same thing with the Cowboys fan. I was just having a conversation with one of my relatives about it while we was watching the Knicks game. Shout out to the Knicks for pulling out for the win. It's a thing where, like when you watch the game and you see the camera going to Spike Lee on the sideline, and you see him with all this New York gear, Knicks this and Knicks that, and he's always in talking trash, like back in the day when he was talking trash to Reggie Miller. Things like that. And, you know, if you grew up in the hood, you know, especially a lot of black old heads, they like Cowboys, a lot of Cowboy fans. That's 45, 40 and up. And obviously they became fans from those Emmitt Smith days, the Michael Irvin days.
Facts.
So you can't tell them nothing. They ain't won shit in over 30 years. You can't tell them nothing. They still gonna talk about the Cowboys like they just won 10 straight chips. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you're gonna get from them, and that's the same energy that we getting from the Knicks fans today. You see it all over the internet. Trae Young can suck my, you know what? And they all the energy that they have, and I mean you can't knock them for it because you got a lot of people now that's jumped from team to team. And the fact that we got 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds that's like, man, they diehard Knicks fans and they ain't won nothing. They ain't even been to the finals in about what, 25 years, 99?
Yeah. But they love their Knicks. But they love them. And you can't tell them no otherwise, and you shouldn't because they're enjoying it. Like they said, I seen a video where Buddy was saying, bro, he was naming all like the horrible times of the Knicks throughout the last 20 years. He was like, if you didn't go, I was acting the way we act. Let us be the way we are, and I like it. I'm not a Knicks fan. I hate the Knicks, but if that's what it takes to be a fan, I'm all for it, bro. I really appreciate that. I don't care. You know, you got to be a fan of the game, bro. You got to be a fan. You got to appreciate it. Here we go. Peter, why are you out here lying? I run 8 games of full court, hit the club, but you ain't even talk about showering. Wake up at 8 o'clock the next day and do it again. Now, I remember we used to play basketball all the time when I was younger. But that was crazy. VM says here, because of no social media and internet, Ajani, if you place those mediums in the 90s, it would have been bad as well with toxic online. No, I agree with you. That's the thing. Back then, like I said, if you didn't have cable television, you couldn't see the games. And if not, you was watching them on the weekends. And then if you were trying to find out about the games, you had to go to ESPN. And ESPN did not show you nothing bad. They didn't talk bad about players. They gave you highlights. They showed you all the great plays, whether you won or lost the game. We just showed you them showing Michael Jordan lose and him being the post-interviewer guy. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine them going to Anthony Edwards after losing a series instead of going to SGA, who's the winner of the game?
They would kill him.
Thank you. That shows you how the idea of how they perceive players was just different back then. So I was able to do that. I was able to see Larry Johnson, see the Scrub Hornets, and still think I was a part of something special, even though they weren't winning shit. They weren't winning shit. And that's how it always goes. But let me put you in the background for a little bit. Olo, I got another GJK member in the building. Let me bring him up, and then we can have a conversation. I'll bring all y'all up shortly. We'll have fun. I'm not going nowhere. Again, this is the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. I'm here doing the best thing. If you're a GJK member, come join me. We'll have fun. I'm celebrating my 44th birthday and celebrating the fact that I no longer have to talk to Zesty Jeffries under 25. But I do have an elder statesman, someone who is older than me that could also remember the same things that I was just talking about. I just gave you guys a rundown of my fondest memories as a basketball fan, and I got my boy Anthony Davis in the building. What's good, Anthony? Thank you for joining me. What you got for me today?
Hey, brother. How you doing? Happy birthday.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, brother. What's good?
Oh, good, man. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed how you gave the rundown of your fandom. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? You know, being a kid, loving your team, and you came up in a time where there was no criticism, loving your team, right? And that's all changed. Man, I'm born in 1971. I'm in New York City. So I grew up idolizing Bernard King back in 1983, 84. I'm 12, 13 years old, wearing number 30 Knick jerseys. Bernard King was that dude. He was from Brooklyn. He was from New York. And for a lot of New Yorkers, being from New York is a big deal, right? It's like Willie Randolph played for the Yankees. He was from Brooklyn. He was from New York. It was like a big deal when somebody from your hood can represent your professional sports team. So a guy like Bernard King was the guy that I was into. And I think in the 84 playoffs against Detroit, dude had like, I don't know, 3, 4 40-point games, like some crazy thing. And then he played against, I think, Boston, I think in the semifinals. And I think Boston said, oh, you're not going to get any more 40-point games. And I think Bernard in that series had 2 more 40-point games. He was just outrageous.
I remember seeing something about that, talking about that. Now that you say that they were saying, and he put up 40 against him. Yeah. Now that you say that, I saw something similar recently about Bernard King because I've been, double tapping Knicks content recently.
Back in those Bernard King days, when Michael Jordan came into the league, one of the biggest attractions was Michael Jordan versus Bernard King, because Bernard was such an amazing one-on-one player, amazing scorer. And to see that matchup, right? I think early in Michael Jordan's rookie year, people wanted to see that, right? So, Bernard King was the guy that really brought me in to the game, of course. And, so when I'm like 15, 16, 86, 87, I started now going to the game. And going to the Garden back in those games, it was nowhere near as expensive as it is today. There's no way like an average person can go to a regular Knick game now. Because I think now the courtside seat for a potential Game 7 is like $250,000.
Ooh, I don't know how people got that kind of money to just spend on one night of enjoyment.
It's the corporate people, man. If you go to the games now, it's real corporate. I've managed to go to games through various ways, because I'm connected with people, but it's expensive. So one of the reasons why the Knicks have been stuck in mediocrity for so long is Dolan owned the team. We saw the Isaiah Thomas years, the Phil Jackson years. And we see, that for a long time, they weren't really concerned about putting a good product on the court, right? But Knicks fans are going to come anyway. They're still going to charge crazy tickets. They're still going to sell out.
Facts.
So they didn't need to necessarily put anybody there. And so you saw how they treated Charles Oakley. You saw that, right? How they treated Spike Lee not long after that. How they treated Patrick Ewing. He's coaching Georgetown. So so the energy that you see from New York now is we've gotten past a lot of those bad times. And a lot of the energy is not Dallas Cowboy-like. I refute that. It's just more 25, 30 years of being stuck in mediocrity. And now you got a team that you can actually get with. And a guy like Jalen Brunson embodies so much of what the city's about. You know what I'm saying? So he's become the face of New York sports. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love it, bro. I like Brunson. Like I said, I like the way New York is rallying around. I saw a video the other day where the dude was like, "Yo, people are outside in front of bodegas all of a sudden," because he was saying after the pandemic, New York kind of changed, and he was like, "Man, people are outside watching the game together. It's a different feel in New York now." And again, if they pull this off tomorrow night and they go to a Game 7, I can only imagine the type of atmosphere that's going to happen.
Before I go, I just want to say that to all the people who watch, listen, I'm 10 years older than you, right?
Yes.
The accuracy by which you cover the game is crazy. And I'm only here really to just attest to your witness that you comprehensively cover the game with accuracy. I never feel like you do your homework, you do your research. I never feel your facts are wrong. I always feel you always got it. And I always know that if you may not know something as well, by the next time or whatever, you've mastered that thing. So that's why you be killing these dudes out here, man. And I love it. You kill these guys. So I'm just, like I said, I just came really to be a witness, to give a little bit of my experience, right, as a fan. It hasn't been great as a Knicks fan, and also to be like, yo, man, that's why I love the show. I'm a member because you and B. Lee, you guys really do your work. And even though you may be 10 years younger, I feel that you understand the era I came up of because you did the work.
I appreciate that, man. But before you go though, can you please tell everybody what was the sentiments? Because you was about 19 in 1990, right? So you was 19, right? So can you please tell people what was the sentiments when Michael Jordan lost that game 7 and the Bulls lost again to the Detroit Pistons and what they were talking about with Michael Jordan? And
in terms of like, what was it a big deal if he lost?
Not a big deal, but what was just the narrative? What was the talk? What was the? Because again, in my household, it was they lost again. They were upset, and I don't remember the media coverage because again, I'm 9, 10. I was 9, 10 years old, bro. I don't. Really, only thing I remember was my brother being.
All right, I'm gonna say it like
upset.
this. I mean, this is from my perspective, right? You gotta understand. From 87, 88, 89, 90, right? It was the Boston Celtics, LA Lakers, Detroit, whatever, were dominating. My view of it, no one really cared if Michael Jordan won or not. That wasn't the sentiment back then.
Okay.
So when he lost in 88, no one really cared. When he lost in 89, I remember Dick Stockton saying, like, kind of giving excuses when he lost the game 6, and Michael was terrible in that game 6, 5 out of 12 from the foul line, disappeared the last 2-3 minutes of the game. 1990, I saw the interview that you put up, at the end of the game. I didn't get the feeling. This is my opinion. Look, I'm like you said, I'm about 19, right? I didn't get the feeling like people were killing Michael Jordan back in those days. It's like, okay, well, maybe he'll get a chance, but it was like people were still allowed, as you said, allowed to be fans. You were still allowed to like your team, and there wasn't none of this, vitriol, right? So, I just like the criticism and the incessant 24-hour ESPN stuff and the breaking down the game and the way Skip Bayless did with LeBron from age 21. That never happened to Michael Jordan. That constant critique didn't happen. So in terms of sentiment, if I understand your question, that's what I felt. Like I just never felt that him losing meant that much to people.
All right, no, I got you. Like I said, I was only 19 years old. I like Wally would say, I wasn't off the porch type of fella. Anyways, brother, enjoy your evening, man. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your support as usual. You know how to reach out to me as a GOAT James Kingdom member and Brandon and I. So thank you so much, brother. Enjoy.
One more time, happy birthday, bro. Enjoy.
Thank you so much. Yeah, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you. So I got the rest of you guys up here as well. Let me address some of these comments. Where's FYF? You're on FYF. If you didn't know, this is like the 40th something episode on FYF on a Friday night. The only thing that happens on a Friday night on FYF Sports Debate is the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. Welcome. I'm Ajani the Exposer. All I do is expose Zesty Jeffrey lies and Zesty Jeffries in particular. Welcome to another great show where I'm showing guys how I'm a real basketball fan. The rest of y'all really ain't. Y'all just up here upset that y'all can't really praise LeBron. But I'm going to give you a reason how to praise LeBron because I done showed y'all why LeBron's the GOAT. So welcome to GOAT James Kingdom. Welcome to the Friday Night Exposure. I'm Ajani the Exposer. Your consigliere, is that how they say it? I'm here to introduce you to all the greatness about basketball. If you don't like that, you can go run to Meltdown Sports. Because I hear somebody over here talking about Meltdown Sports. Let me go to his comment right here. Meltdown Sports, that's fine. He's probably live talking about LeBron James. The biggest LeBron sexuals are all of these Zesty Jeffrey channels. The Meltdown Sports, right? The Creepers Pro, right? The Hungry Man, right? The Unsmart Hoops, right? The Dookie Rated R Sports channel. Or not, my bad, it's Rated X Sports because he got exposed by the Exposer. Just like the rest of the Zesty Jeffries go. The Zesty Fitness and Rants. You go down their channel, all you're going to see is LeBron this, LeBron that, LeBron. And then they got the nerve to call me a LeBron sexual when they run around here talking about LeBron James more than I could ever talk about LeBron James. LeBron. But I'm here with guys who support me. Thank you, you gentlemen. Thank you, Juan Boy, for being a member. Thank you, Ro, for doing what you want. In fact, doing what you do. Ro, go ahead and plug your channel for people right now, please. Go ahead and plug your channel, please.
Yeah. So so I'm with GoCast Hoop, right? GoCast Hoop. Just the way FYF you and FYF partner up. He gives me the platform to do the 10 Toes Down podcast on his show, and he does the GoCast. So me and my man CW from GoCast Hoops, do a show. And I'm gonna start doing 2 shows a week. I did 2 shows this week, Tuesday and Thursday. And, you know, I've been doing some live streams with 93's Day again. He's a LeBron critic. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, we out here doing it, man. Look, you guys, I don't always agree with y'all. I agree. See, the crazy part is I agree with y'all some of the times. But, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, it's all good. This is like us doing it on YouTube. I think we do it a little bit better. I think we do this little sports debate thing. We do a little bit better than they do on TV because a lot of us are giving a fan perspective. So that's a good thing, man. And there's room out here for all of us. But yeah, I do the 10 Toes Down podcast. I try to do it Thursday nights and Tuesday nights. Tuesdays and Thursday nights at around 9:30 Eastern. You know.
All right, so y'all make sure to check out King Ray's speech. Right, y'all make sure to check him out. King Speech Raw. I apologize, with the 10 Toes Down podcast. That's a dope name. Y'all definitely check out his channel. Olo, go ahead and plug in your channel, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead and plug in your channel and what you do on your channel, brother. Go ahead.
I'm starting a channel right now on YouTube. The first of the first, and it's shorts. I got a couple of shorts on there. If you want to check me out. It is at Olo Hoops on YouTube. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it is 386_Olo, OLLO_sports.
Indeed. Shout out to you, young man. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, Olo is a young man. If you want to know how young Olo is, all I got to do is show you my basketball timeline. Olo was born around the time Dwayne Wade was being drafted. So that, huh?
I got old soul though. I got old soul. I've been around old people all my life.
That's true. You are a wise young man. You sit here and listen to us as older gentlemen. I see you listen to FYF, and I see you show up. You stay quiet. You patient. You wait till your turns to speak, and you absorb all the information. Unlike these zesty Jeffries who just comment, and they think that they comments mean something. They really think that by commenting they doing something. So we got some dude named Randy Clips in here. So let the shit go. You got cooked. If not, you would have kept replying in the comments. Why do you guys think that having an actual conversation in the comments is a debate? It's not a debate. Hit the link. I put the link up for you. Hit the link. You Zesty Jeffries are safe in the comments, so you could pretend that we didn't have a conversation. Nobody's reading your comments. We got well over 300 people watching today's show right now, and you don't want to show up with over 300 people doing stuff. He said, "You're not talking about me." Well, who are you talking to?
Oh, Random Cliff's talking to me because he come on my show. Now, I gave him the link to my show, too, and he didn't want to come up either. Like, so, again, he wants to debate you in the comments. And
yeah.
That's how he do. That's how he do it. So he's a Jordan critic, and I don't understand what his argument is. But, you know, it is what it is. He probably coming at me.
They safe in the comments. Like I always say, these dudes be safe in the comments, man.
You see
like,
me,
come on, man.
1v10.
Yeah, like I don't got time to be reading y'all comments, man, and be remembering everything you last Zesty Jeffrey say. Like, come on, bro. Like nobody got time for y'all. If you really want to have a conversation, come on live, because y'all know y'all gonna say something real stupid. And then you're going to end up getting clipped. And once you get clipped, it's a wrap. It's on GOAT James Kingdom forever. Just like Zesty Fitness and Rants now telling everybody, yeah, oh, we saw those guys like over a year ago, and I cooked those guys. Yeah, right. We got footage of it. We got footage of all of it. And all you doing is lying. You guys don't got no footage of me getting cooked. I'm waiting for somebody to go pull up the Dookie Live. You know why you can't go get the Dookie Live and me getting cooked on Dookie Live? Because he didn't even show you the whole live. He didn't show you the beginning of the live when I was cooking him, and he didn't show you the end of the live when I was still going off on him. In fact, I don't even think the crash out is on his YouTube. When I basically told his homeboy come get his money in blood since he think I owe him money, because supposedly I owe them Zesty Jeffries money, but they ain't never gonna get the money. They never gonna come get the money. We saw Zesty Jeffries was out here. I mean, we saw Dookie was on the comments earlier. We're not scared of none of you, Zesty Jeffries. I'm a real basketball fan. I gave y'all tidbits. If you missed it, that's your problem. I showed y'all something that y'all can go run with. Y'all can go make fun of a 12, 13-year-old. Shout out to Mitsu. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you again. I am celebrating my 44th birthday this year. I wanted to have Chilltown on today's show. Shout out to Mike the Champ, man. What's the topic right now? Right now, the topic is whatever y'all want it to be, because I already explained to y'all my fandom, where I come from, my background. I showed you guys how I became an NBA fan. I would love to hear y'all stories. Why don't y'all come up here and tell me what was it? What was the moment that said, hey, I'm an NBA fan? This is it. I'm going to watch this. I like it. That's right. Come get it in blood. I ain't seen the nigga since. And the crazy part, like I always told y'all, is like I told you. Remember I told y'all I grew up in a neighborhood where we made fun of each other all the time. Could you imagine me going to school looking like this every day? Could you imagine the type of how much I was probably bullied in my lifetime because I was walking around looking like this? And I ain't even like getting haircuts. Y'all can see I ain't even got a lineup. I ain't got nothing working for me. I don't know how I came up in life looking like this. I don't know what was going on in life for me. But shout out to my mother. Shout out to my mother. You can see I do have braces on, so I was getting my teeth fixed. But I was known as Bucky. They used to call me Bucky from Captain Bucky O'Hare. That's what I was. And I used to walk around school with one of those jackets. Now, in South Florida, you only need one jacket. You don't need more than one jacket in South Florida because we only get winter for 3 weeks out the year. So that was good enough. And I had like 3 homeboys. We all had this same jacket. I had the white version. I don't remember. I couldn't find the white version on the internet, but I did have the white version. So that's what tonight's topic is about, Mike. You come up here, Mike. How old are you, Mike? Because I know you be out here talking all the time, and you was out here arguing for Akeem Olajuwon. But I'm quite sure you was born in the 2000s as well, Mike. So let's start with you, Juan Boy. What is your fondest memory of a basketball fan, Juan Boy? Like, what is your earliest memory for you? What was the earliest thing that made you say, "Yo, damn, this is crazy. This is anything revolving the NBA"?
Now, being that I started playing basketball when I was around 8 years old. So about 9, 10 years old, growing up in Brooklyn, that was more of a, like a guard-oriented style of play. Because in New York City, what was everybody basically known for? Ball handling skills. So when we coming up in the early 90s, it's left side, left hand. If you on the left side of the court, you dribbling left-handed. If you go into the layup line, you lay up with your left hand. So as you growing and seeing other guys with the same skills that you were raised on have athleticism and better shooting mechanics to go with that, that's when you see the guys like the Kobe's, the Ray Allens, you know what I'm saying? The more skilled bigs, the Kevin Garnett, Lamar Odom, you know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up down the block from Eric Barkley, who went to school, the Christ the King High School with Speedy Claxton and Lamar Odom, and Shamika Holsclaw and Tina Charles and Sue Bird, and that's how deep the New York circuit of basketball go. And I ain't even getting deeper into that, but growing up, seeing that in the late 90s and early 2000s, that's why, you know what I'm saying, I'm so proud on pumping with the 2000s up till now put out, because we see how the game elevated so fast within a couple years. Because remember, Chris Webber and all of them, you know what I mean, Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, Jason Kidd, the guys that can handle the ball, a little bit more athleticism, more strength, more skill. That's when the NBA, started to take a turn for the better. That's how I feel, and then it trickled on into the 2000s, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I hold dear, because that's when I say, like, oh damn, this motherfucker Dirk giving Garnett this work. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm watching Patrick Ewing cook somebody like Dale Davis or Ronnie Cycli or see Vlad. I don't. Nobody want to talk about Vlade Divac and Victor Alexander. Those are starting centers for the Lakers and the Warriors. We don't remember that. We didn't see that. So you know what I'm saying? I don't think that it's worth the talk about it to the extent Because you mentioning all these players, y'all talk about these players more than the guys who were the actual stars in the 90s. The stars in the 90s should be the only ones you guys should be really talking about. Because we got role players in this era from the 2000s on that was better than the guys that y'all keep talking about from the 90s.
See, that's why I disagree with you, Juan boy. And again, you from like the same streets I'm from, and you're a little bit younger. First of all, you skip over the role players. Mutombo, you realize Jordan couldn't dunk on Mutombo for like 8 years. So almost last year before he retired from the Bulls, Mutombo was that much of a patroller that even Jordan couldn't dunk on him. You understand what I'm saying? It was a big deal when he finally did it. Like, you talk about role players. Okay, you skip past Alonzo Mourning. You went in Mourning had battles. You went in you went in Mourning with the Heat, had battles for 4 straight years. Like, so to sit there and say you was cooking, and Ronnie Cycling was no bum. See, again.
Hold on. Ronnie Cycling was a goddamn bum. Don't start that road. Don't start that road.
Come on, you a Heat fan. See, but now I know you didn't pick up the Heat to 2.
No, yeah, exactly. I told people that I didn't pick up the Heat till the Charlotte Hornets left. I was a big time Hornet fan as a kid. As a grown man, I can make a decision. Right, I was 21 at the time I made the decision. I was able to drink.
Okay.
Right, so I was able to make that decision. Right? Huh? Yeah, but there was no Hornets team. But there was no Hornets team at the time. Remember that the Charlotte Hornets didn't exist. So that was that was kind of like my freeway to go to another team. If the team don't exist anymore, how can I be a fan of it?
I got you.
Right?
But I'm saying the years they were in Charlotte, it was kind of nice. And you was playing BD.
No, I was. That's why I was showing you Baron Davis, because I was a big time Baron Davis fan. Yeah, I used to love Glenn Rice. I used to love Eddie Jones. And I didn't become a Heat fan until I went to a Heat game in 2002. That was the first time that I experienced an NBA game in person. So I was like, wow, like this is dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is different from watching it in the actual television. Like, I actually was watching them play. I remember it was like Rafer Alston on the team. They had Brian Grant. And you know what my most memorable part of that game, going to that game, was? I saw Serena Williams in person. Yo, Serena Williams is bad. She was a bad woman, son. I'm talking about bad. This woman was bad. And I believe I sat next to Pat Riley's daughter. If I'm correct, Pat Riley's daughter played for the WNBA. And I believe I sat next to her in that game. Because I remember seeing two tall chicks, and one of them was a white girl, and she was telling me her dad was Pat Riley. I think that's what she was saying at the time. I don't remember. I was drunk. I was having a good time. Again, the arena was half empty because the Heat sucked at that time. And I was like, oh, nobody can tell me anything because I'm a Heat fan now, because at the end of the day, they suck. The Charlotte Hornets don't exist. And I can go to Heat games. Back then, I could go to a Heat game for like $15. He said, Ajani was ready to risk it all.
Run the Heat, man.
You talking about. Oh wait, y'all want to talk about risk it all? My homeboy, the one that I was with, he was ready to risk it all just to get next to Serena Williams. He kept screaming her name the whole game. He was trying to get her attention. She was courtside, and we were behind the basket. And he was trying to get her attention the whole game. He was screaming her name the whole game. I was like, yo, bro, you're going to get us arrested. You need to leave her alone. He was like, nah, bro. When's the next time we ever going to see Serena Williams? And I was like, you know what? You're right. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Do your thing. Go ahead. Do your thing. But like I said, those are my fond memories as a basketball fan. You know what I'm saying? I remember going to see Jordan. I was there when the Heat retired Jordan's jersey in Miami. I was at that game.
That's nice. That's real nice. I mean, like I said, it was good. It was, again, the league had actually, y'all forget in the 70s, the league was almost going to fold. Shit was on tape delay. So we needed every little advancement to get where we are now. So it's like, I don't hate on none of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of these guys said was born during when Wade was drafted, right? But the thing about it is there's Google now, right? So you could go research just if you interested about it. Of course, what you watch now, you know what I'm saying? Like I always say, from just like you, what we see now, we seen then and we see now, so we can compare a little bit. It's not a bad thing, and I'm not. Again, there's a lot about today's game I love. There's some things I don't. I want to see these guys learn to box out. But by the same
So,
token, yeah,
but
they
hold
could
on,
have shot more
but
threes
bro,
back
let me
then.
ask you. Hold on, all right, let me ask you this. So since you say you older than Juan Boy, are you in your 30s or your 40s?
I just turned 42 last month.
All right, man. Shout out to you, brother. Peace and blessings to all you brothers surviving out here. You know the world's against us, and we out here
I'm a before
surviving.
crack, baby.
He said before crack, baby. All right, so you older than us, bro. So when did you start liking the Knicks? When did the Knicks become? What Knicks team did you become a fan to make you start liking basketball?
I became a Knicks fan the moment I was watching Knicks versus Celtics. This is 1990. Bird was slowing down.
Oh, wait, 1990. Hold on, wait. So how old are you, bro?
I'm 46.
All right, so
I'm
you're
46.
2 years older than me. All right, so in 1990 you was about
11.
No, you can't be 11.
Yeah, I born in 79.
Okay, so you're right. Because I'm wrong, right? Because I was 9 in 1990. Okay, I'm wrong. Okay, so you became a fan watching the late 90s Knicks.
The late 80s. The late 80s.
I mean, I'm sorry, yeah, the late 80s Knicks. That's when Patrick, because you know that 89 Patrick was a beast. That's when y'all drafted Strickland and y'all drafted Mark Jackson.
And we had
back to back.
We wound up trading both of them by 92. Yeah,
okay, so go ahead, brother.
Through some Knicks history. We messed up all along the way.
All right, so go ahead. Tell me. So tell me about that 1990. You're 11 years old. The 1990
and I remember
Knicks.
the announcer on CBS saying Patrick Ewing was a once in every 20-year player. Like
he was.
He's a
at
player
that time.
that come around once every 20 years. And I was like, okay. So the Knicks got that guy. That's New York. And they battling with Larry Bird in them, right? And again, the Knicks went down 2-0. And then, again, this is Patrick Ewing. Mind you, we weren't even playing Ross Strickland like that. We should have been, but we weren't. And, it was Mark Jackson, Oakley, Gerald Wilkins, and like between Newman and Kenny Walker. You know what I'm saying? And we going up against the Celtics.
Yeah, I remember that.
Kale DJ. 4 Hall of Famers right there.
Yeah, because Bird was hurt that year. Yeah.
He was not, but he was still giving you 20 and 20, 10, and 5. I don't care what you say, Bird. They keep saying Bird was hurt. But okay, he's still battling Parrish and McHale. And Ewing came back, had a big, almost a triple-double. He hit that corner 3. And the Knicks, then we lost to the Bulls the next round. Okay. No, not the Bulls. We lost to the Pistons.
You didn't play the Bulls in 90. You didn't play the Bulls in 90.
We lost to the Pistons. I'm sorry. We lost to the Bulls in 89. Then we lost to the Bulls in 91 in the first round. You know what I'm saying? So I remember all of that. We had hired Stu Jackson. Rick Pitino went back to college for whatever. I remember what happened. All that. I wasn't old enough to.
Yeah, he was the coach for the Knicks. I remember that too. Now I remember him being the coach. I mean, I don't remember that personally, but I do remember that story of him being the coach for the Knicks in the late 80s.
Yeah. So it was like you went in them battles. So okay, by 92, the Bulls was already on top. But the Knicks said, oh, no. Y'all not going to run through the league. And we took them to a hot 7-game series. We had Xavier. That's when I became a diehard Knicks fan. Now, my first memory was watching the Lakers on TV about 88, 87. And I remember seeing Jack Nicholson courtside and all that. And the I Love LA chants. And I was like, okay, this basketball shit. Because I was a baseball guy. I only watched baseball before that. 86, 87, 88. Doc and Darryl. To mess with my team. Doc Gooden was, K Fever, bro, Gooden was, you couldn't hit him. And then Darryl Strawberry, he had a weird last name like me. So, of course, I used to model everything after them two dudes. But then basketball became my sport as I grew taller and everything else. So that's when, after that, I just started loving everything. So I'm an NBA fan first, and then the Knicks became my team, my diehard team. That's the team I'm going to rock with. But I like players around the league. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Frank Burkowski. It wasn't Frank Nowinski.
Oh,
Frank Burkowski. It was Frank Burkowski. It was Frank Burkowski. It was Frank Burkowski that King Streets Road was out here trying to tell us was a solid center from the 90s, bro.
Let me tell you how I learned the league too. Basketball cards. This is starter, tops, right? You had the starter cards, the tops cards. No. I didn't collect my cards. I would throw all the cards on the floor, and I would just start memorizing stats and facts and stuff like that. So that's how. And then I would see these guys on TV kind of match up the numbers to their game. That's how I kind of learned how these guys play. So again, Frank Burkowski was a role player. We get it. He was starting that 1 year.
He was a bruiser.
Yeah, he wasn't. But again, he was a guy that's what he was. You saw what they did when he was with the Sonics. That's what they brought him in there for, to start fights.
That's
They brought him to
hilarious.
start with Rodman, and they realized that,
Oh
we
my
can't have
God.
Rodman getting technical. Rodman already gonna get a technical foul on his own. We can't have this white boy come in and take him out the game. That's a star coming on TV, and the referee said, "Oh no, we're gonna eject this dude."
Yeah, exactly. Of course, he's gonna eject him. He's throwing elbows out here to people's throats. What you think he's gonna happen? And they're arguing with a ref.
Look,
oh my God!
Phil Jackson brought in JoJo Ingles to fight with Derek Harper in '94. That game 3, Derek Harper fell for it like a dummy. JoJo Ingles played 55 games. What the hell is he doing in a must-win game 3?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Stop. Wait a minute. Stop. Yo, Najee. Are we serious? Serena Williams got an OF? I need to go find out or something. I need to go find something out, bro. I need to find something. Shout out to you, VM. He said he's going to turn 53 in August. That's a couple of months from now. Shout out to you, man. Peace and blessings, man. Let me address some of these other comments before we let Olo tell us about his experience. He said he would have. Mike, we would. None of them dudes you talking about compete with that dude, son. Like Rudy Gobert is a beast, son. There's another comment here that I wanted to address. No, he wasn't talking about Dirk Nowitzki. He was talking about Frank Burkowski.
And the crazy thing about it, when they brought him up, when they brought up go get the footage, it was him being the first play of the highlight was him going to the hoop, losing the ball. I think he either kicked somebody in the stomach or kneed somebody in the stomach. He fell to the floor. Then the rest of the clip, he just getting into it. Listen, that man's name. You brought that man up for us to see that. That was a waste of time on the show.
And I named their game.
Yo,
and I said how these guys were a little bit.
Nah, you cap. You were capping. You were capping. You were capping.
You got a C minus.
All right, listen.
C minus.
Carson says here, he says, now we praising hackers. Yes, back then hackers were important. Guys like a Charles Oakley, like he said, those bruisers, they were important because back then just being 7 foot or being tall was good enough because there wasn't really good enough guards to cause a problem. So for guards to really be an advantage, they had to be able to attack the basket. Well, guess what? If I had a bruiser that you had to face to go to the basket, then guess what? I got a player. So a lot of guys had basically contract because they were big, they were physical, and they can last an 82 game season. Again, the NBA was grueling back then. Matter of fact, talking about those finals or those Eastern Conference finals, bro, they used to play back-to-back playoff games. Forget back-to-back regular season games. The Chicago Bulls played a game 3 versus Detroit Pistons. The next night they were playing game 4. Like, that's how the NBA was back then. It was a different league. It was so different. So having those bruisers was effective. That's why guys were just shooting jumpers if they weren't going to the paint. That's why you had to have effective jump shooters in a mid-range game because you were not going to be able to do nothing as a small guy because you had a bunch of Frank Burkowskis out here elbowing the shit out of you. Yeah. That's just the facts. That's just the facts.
Bill and Biz.
No, hold on, not yet. No, Ro, not yet, Ro. You're Ro. I know you older than me, but you're only 2 years older than me, so you're gonna have to sit back, bitch. I'm 44. You're gonna have to sit back and let me. No, wait. We're gonna let a young man speak because I want to hear Olo's experience. Because Olo's younger. He was around for a more developed NBA, a more mature broadcast of the NBA in the 2000s. So Olo, you was about 10, 11 years old. What year now?
2013, 2014.
Wow. So okay. Wow. Yeah. So you missed the Kobe era, the Shaq era, the Duncan era in particular. You missed that.
I came later in Kobe's year. That's when I started watching.
Okay, so let's talk about that, brother. The mic is yours. What got you to like basketball around 10, 11, 12 years old?
Well, as you know, I'm a Florida kid, born and raised in the Central Florida area. I'm from the same area where Vince Carter's from. The town that I'm from is like literally 15 minutes away from there.
But y'all chasing rabbits and shit and raccoon hunting?
Something like that.
Something like that. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, it was Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard was our LeBron. Like we had everywhere we went, it was Orlando Magic magazine somewhere. It was something with Orlando Magic on it. Somebody's car had the stickers on it. It was just Dwight. All the commercials, Dwight. Adidas commercials, all that. So that was the era that I came up in. And so after that, then I became a LeBron fan. Once I got to middle school around 2015 or 16, I became a LeBron fan. What made me really become a LeBron fan was I think right before the 3-1 comeback.
Okay.
Because I had a cousin that played football, and he was a big Kyrie Irving fan. Like when Kyrie came into the league, he was a Kyrie fan. He was born in '96, so he was in high school when Kyrie was balling. And as he said, I'm like, Kyrie's really that good? I was watching highlights of him, and then I started watching LeBron more, and then all of a sudden I became a LeBron fan. I did hear about LeBron a lot in school, like in elementary school, when he was in Miami, but I wasn't really like watching Miami games like that. It was Orlando. My auntie, rest her soul, she was a Magic fan, diehard Magic fan. So every night it was Orlando. That's all we were watching on TV was Orlando Magic. It wasn't no Kobe and the Lakers, no Carmelo and the Knicks, none of that. It was just Orlando.
At that time, it was Dwight Howard, but they traded Dwight Howard. They traded Dwight Howard in 2007. So by the time you was in high school, or like you said, or middle school, who was on Orlando then?
That was when we were sorry. I was going to the games then. That was the Tobias Harris, Elfrid Payton. I was a big Elfrid Payton fan. That was the Victor Oladipo. Tobias Harris.
Victor Oladipo was on that team.
Vucevic.
Bismack Biyombo was there for a little while. That's when we was trading for. I think we had traded for Serge Ibaka one of those years. He played for a little stint there. But
wow, okay. All right, so you missed the whole 2000s with like everything that happened with the Lakers, the Spurs, the Heat winning a championship, Shaq's dominance.
I was
even LeBron's dominance in Miami. You really wasn't old enough to see or understand. You might have remembered it because, and lucky for you, Olo. See, you were able to see a lot more basketball games if you wanted to. I didn't have that access. Us like King Rose, me King Speech Row and Juan Boy, we didn't have access to games at 10-12 like that, like you did at 10-12. So that's definitely a difference there. So what is your team? Are you an Orlando Magic fan still?
I root for the Lakers because LeBron. Wherever LeBron goes, that's who I root for. But
that's my boy. Shout out to you, young man. Good job, young man.
Yeah, I've been following LeBron since 2015, and I ain't never gonna switch up. Well, it's kind of too late for that. But
he not going nowhere anyways. What are you gonna do when he retires?
Well, My favorite positions in basketball and the positions that I wanted to play growing up was point guard or big. So I like bigs. I like bigs more than guards. The big man and point guard, center and point guard are my favorite positions in basketball, period. So a lot of people that know me, they know I'm a big Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid fan. I always praise the bigs. So I'm going to follow the bigs. Sengun, all of those guys, all of the bigs. All of the starting bigs in the league. That's what I'm going to follow.
All right. I got you on that, man. Shout out to you, man. I'm glad that you are a basketball fan and you got a chance to see LeBron James and you wasn't too diluted by these Zesty Jeffries. Talking about Zesty Jeffries, shout out to Hollywood Herm in the building. We lost a couple of GJK members, man. I don't see you guys' logo, man. What happened? What we got to do to keep you guys as members? Let us know so that we can keep you guys happy as members to support what we do here. I don't know what collaboration you talking about. We about to collab? You out here just doing stuff without me? Out here negotiating contracts with me? What's going on, Herm? Let me put this link up for all you Zesty Jeffries, man. You guys out here just putting my name and stuff all the time, bro. This don't make no sense. All right, so King Speech Road, you said you had a story for us. What's your New York Knicks story?
We were talking about bruises, right? And we talked, of course, the Knicks ain't win a championship in 52 years, right? Look, we had so many near misses. And again, bro, But because there's a lot of young Knicks fans like my man over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they ain't never see the New York get lit, bro. And you moved. I know you moved up to Florida. You was born in New York. You moved to Florida, like right in your early 10s, right? Like 9, 10 years old, right?
Yeah, I moved to Florida 88, 89, around that time.
Okay, wow. So you was out early. All right.
Yeah.
So back in the 90s, man, when the Knicks got in the playoffs, and we was the ones trying to foil Michael Jordan's ascent, right? That's why I became a diehard Knicks fan, because we said we're not going to let Michael Jordan just run the league like this. Now there's somebody in his way. We're going to be the villain. We're going to be the new bad boys. So back in the 90s, man, you would have, like, New York, we outside of New York, right? You see this.
Yes,
we
yes,
outside.
New York, the city that doesn't sleep. Yes.
We be playing a playoff game against the Pacers on Sunday. Nobody would come outside until that game was over. As soon as the game was over, everybody come out. There's no internet back then. Ain't no Google. There's internet, but ain't nobody on it. We had dial-up if anybody had the internet. So now everybody coming to the court. You see that game, blah, blah. A lot of times the Knicks lost, sometimes the Knicks won, right? But that's
lost all the
a
time.
lot of these guys don't understand. The young guys don't understand the excitement. Bro, we had the Nets. Hold on. We had the Nets, right? Kyrie and all of them. When Garnett was there that one year, there was no buzz. Nobody cared about the Brooklyn Nets in New York. It's all Knicks. But this Monday, 97, Knicks versus Heat. I remember in the paper, Pat Riley was challenging P.J. Brown. He said, yo, Mason, no, we didn't have Mason. We had L.J. L.J. was on the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Oakley.
That's the year y'all lost to the Heat. That's the year y'all lost to the Heat, no?
Yeah, we lost to the Heat. I was getting how we did it. P.J. Brown was getting knocked around. We even had John Wallace knocking this dude around. John Wallace was a rookie that year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he challenged P.J. Brown to get tougher like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you played the 4 or the 5, you had to be able to take some elbows. You had to, Oakley, you know how Oakley was. Everybody know how Oakley is. LeBron know how Oakley is. He a Cleveland dude, right? So at the end of the day, it was like P.J. Brown waited till the Knicks. I think they were winning. So the Knicks put all the starters on the bench. Oakley and all them was on the bench, and we were trying to play out the game. Charlie Ward Charlie Ward is a football player. He won the Heisman Trophy. So Charlie Ward gave him a low bridge box out, and out of all that knocking around P.J. Brown got, who did he decide I'm going to take my frustration out on? 6'1" Charlie Ward, who's a football player.
Because he was out of place. You're not supposed to be doing this. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Use the guard.
Yeah, and PJ flipped him with one arm.
Well, one arm. Get out of here with that shit. Use a puny ass nigga. What's wrong with you?
Football shit.
But you gonna pick on the guard? All our starters is on the bench.
Because why you out here trying to box me out? What are you doing? Get out of here. What are you doing?
Why you trying to roll bridge me?
Do you understand Oakley was doing this dude much more dirtier than Charlie Ward was?
He's not gonna flip Oakley. He gonna box out Oakley. They gonna elbow you. That's what I'm saying. It was a big man's game. Use a little nigga. Get out of here, little nigga. What's wrong with you, nigga? Use a little nigga. We don't respect you, little niggas.
Ward was one of the best rebounding guards in the league. Charlie Ward was like that. He wasn't
a little nigga.
He wasn't like that. He got flipped with one arm.
Use a little nigga, man. Get out of here, man. He flipped that motherfucker. He flipped that motherfucker into the stand.
PJ wasn't having that shit.
As you know, Johnny, that
turned the series, yes, because guys got suspended. That changed rules.
And then Zoe
after that game, yes. After that game, the NBA established a rule that if there is a fight or altercation on the floor, nobody from the bench is allowed to leave the bench.
That's the Greg Anthony rule. It's funny. Greg Anthony calls games now, right? That's the Greg Anthony rule. Back in '93, Greg Anthony came off the bench and yoked up KJ. KJ got into it with street clothes. So Stern said, "Oh yeah, anybody that leaves the bench area was automatically." But bro, Patrick Ewing took one step. off the bench. He was just trying to see what the hell was going on. His point guard was flipped over into the goddamn crowd. But the point I'm making, the major point I'm making is, if you were a big man, you had to eat a couple of elbows, because that's how they got down. If you couldn't take a bite, and again, PJ Brown waited to all, like, he couldn't do that with Oakman there on the court. And see, now Oakman don't give a. Oakman gonna come.
First off, PJ Brown got hands. PJ Brown didn't give a damn about Oakley or not.
Niggas didn't mess with PJ Brown.
They had some tough guys. I remember this.
PJ Brown was one of the toughest dudes, and he was laid back. But he showed Charlie Ward what it was.
Why did Pat Riley say you gotta get? I remember reading the article in the paper. Pat
No,
Riley
I
said
remember.
you
Listen,
gotta get tougher.
no, because again, the Knicks were a tough team. It was a tough series. It was a lot going on in the NBA at that time. Like I said, a lot of guys didn't have the skills, so you had to show your toughness. But the NBA had to get rid of that. The NBA had to get rid of that.
You see what Andrew Lang did to Patrick Ewing the next year in '98? He went up for a dunk. He clipped him out of the air. Ewing fell and broke his wrist. Was out until the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? This is what the Knicks had to go. Then Ewing tore his Achilles in '99. We still went to the finals without him.
Yeah, but if I'm a great defender and I'm a great rim protector, why do I have to flip you and break your wrist to stop you, bro? That's not that. And having to take it. What would you rather? If you're coaching a basketball team, what you want? A guy that could take some elbows, or some guys with some talent, skill, and athleticism?
Oh my God! Friday Night Exposure. Hold on, wait. Friday Night Exposure turned to a corner on Flatbush with fucking King Rowe and fucking Wamba. No, let me address this comment right quick, Joe. This is a Dwayne Wade jersey, my friend. This is a jersey that I got recently when I went to the statue unveiling, and they were selling his jerseys. I had a bunch of jerseys, man. I had a 2006 Dwayne Wade championship jersey. I'm so upset that I don't know what happened to that jersey. I lost that one. So that's what this one is. Again, this is a Dwayne Wade Miami jersey. I got it recently. It's a dope jersey. It's a dope back Mitchell and Ness. Back when Mitchell and Ness was dope. So again, Dwayne Wade was one of my favorite players of all time. I did an episode about that. I think the players that I had, we did our I asked everybody who was a GOAT James Kingdom member to come up with their top 5 or their starting 5 favorite players of all time. And I remember having Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Larry Johnson, Baron Davis on the team. That was those are the guys that I loved as a kid, man. I loved those guys. So we had fun making that roster. Let me see here. Let me see what else y'all got talking about here. Right here, he said, "There's Olo. Wasn't you agreeing that Sturdy saying Akeem was top 10? You have top 10. You have Akeem in the top 10, Olo, without championships.
Without championships, no. I was the one giving. What was his name? I think it was Young Africa. I was the one giving him pushback for that. Without championships, he's top 10. No, me and Lamont was the one clicking him for that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because we kept me and Lamont kept asking him. He's like, okay, so you're saying that without 94, 95, with those 6 or 7 or 8 career first round exits, he would still be top 10 all time? He said, yeah. Well, it took him like 2 hours to answer the question, but I think he said yes.
I mean, Akeem is the greatest Nigerian athlete of all time. I mean, African going definitely speak up for Akeem, bro. Prince Akeem, Olajuwon. No, I mean, I got him top 15.
I ain't gonna lie. No, but the most popular and the most influential African basketball player is Mutombo.
No. It was Mutombo. It was 830.
But he's from the Congo. He's from the Congo. Back then they called it Zaire. Now he's from the Congo, but Nigeria, that's Akeem. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you're right. After the whole, it's different countries and all that. But
yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I think Akeem Olajuwon is one of the greatest players to ever play. Like I said, I got him 11th on my list all time. Like I said, I flip-flop with him and Shaq. I never really call him 12, so more than likely he's always 11. Again, he has over, I believe you're correct, he has over 27,000 points, like 13 or 14,000 rebounds. He has 3,000 blocks, 2,000 steals. I think he has 3,000 steals. No, he has 2,000 steals. He's one of the best players to ever play the game of basketball, bro. I mean, he has all NBA selections, all defensive selections, Defensive Player of the Year, MVPs, NBA championships, an illustrious career, played a mad years in the NBA. He's definitely one of the greatest players to ever play the game, without a doubt. So yeah, I got him. Like I said, I got him in my top 15, and some people have him in the top 10. I don't see how some people be trying to put him top 5. I don't see how you can have him high in your top 10. But you got him 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. That's not a problem. If you have him above Kobe, that's a problem.
But yeah, Johnny, I want to correct myself. It was Ace 30 that was up there.
Yeah, Ace 30 was the one that was saying that it would be on the championships because he was trying to make a case, and Lamont kept telling him, no, it's all about the championships. Because if you don't count the championships, then nobody's talking about Hakeem Olajuwon top 10. And he was trying to say, well, even if you take the championships away, he's still top 10 off of his, I guess, his skill set. I don't know. And he used to travel a lot.
Hence why they compare him to Giannis a lot.
Wait a minute now, Johnny. Who did LeBron go to when he needed to learn how to get his footwork in the post?
Here it is, Johnny.
He went to Hakeem, and like Gilbert Arenas said, you was a waste of $50,000.
You know why? Because LeBron ain't learned shit.
No, I'm not. You know what? Let me take that. I said that's what Gilbert Arenas said. And like I said, that's what Gilbert Arenas said. LeBron spent the $50,000. Who knows what LeBron learned, right? But the stuff that he was showing LeBron was a damn travel.
Nah, how's it a travel? And they don't even call travel no more.
Because he was lifting his pivot foot before he put the ball down. Trying to teach him that move that he was trying to do, which is fine. Again, if they don't call it, they don't call it. It looks nice. I used to try that same move. I used to try that same move on the basketball court. If you ain't call it, I would just rip right under you, dribble once, and go right over you with the hook shot. Especially if I was on the left block. You better not let me do that. Don't let me turn my left shoulder on you. I mean my right shoulder.
Indirectly, this is why Rodman wound up on the Bulls, because Hakeem Olajuwon cooked Robinson so bad. Then Rodman, after that series, said, "Yo, Dennis, you soft. Dennis, you soft." Robinson. David Robinson, you soft, and they couldn't have that. So they chose between. Obviously, you're gonna choose Robinson over Rodman, and Papa say, "We got to get up out of here." Like, I know we love what you do, Rodman, but you can't be coming at the star like that. So that's why they became available, and the Bulls gave them Will Perdue. He said, "I'll take Will Perdue for Dennis Rodman." And Rodman wound up on the Bulls for the next three-peat. You know what I'm saying? Because they needed a power forward, obviously. But yeah, Olajuwon cooked Robinson. And Robinson this is MVP Robinson. Remember, Robinson won the scoring title, 29 points a game in 95.
Yeah,
hold up. Look at his comment, though.
Marcus, shout out to Marcus. Y'all know Marcus said I had a retro 70s Cavaliers jersey. Had to let it go before 2010s because too many got too drunk with Black and Miles, burnt holes into his.
World Be Free jersey, man. World Be Free. Shout out to Brown Fighters.
I had a LeBron James Cavalier jersey, but it was like a 3X. That's when you used to wear big clothes back in the days. I had got rid of it, but I remember I had a Shaq jersey. And I remember I had an Alonzo Mourning jersey, and I had one of those Alonzo Mourning jersey that was one of those colorways. It was a bright gold or yellowish jersey. So I had one of those. I lost that one. I had one of the old Shaq jerseys, like I said, from the Heat. Yeah, man, I had a lot of jerseys back in days, but it is what it is now. Now I got Jimmy Butler. Now I didn't have Timmy. I wasn't a Heat fan then. I wasn't a Heat fan.
Okay.
So I never had no Charlotte Hornet jerseys. Like I said, I only had, like I said, I give you guys the tip. If you Jesse Jeffries didn't get it earlier, you can get it now. I had this Charlotte shirt though. I had this Charlotte Hornet shirt, and you can tell that shirt big as hell. I could have worn that shirt for another 3-4 years. I could have worn that shirt till I was like 16. Huh? Put you on the big screen. Let me see here what you got here. Oh, you got the number 6. Damn.
What was that, Eddie Jones?
No, that's not. That's LeBron.
That's niggas from Eddie Jones. Hell no, that ain't Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones was crazy.
25.
Yo, I should kick you off the damn show for that, bro. I really should. I should kick you off the damn show for confusing a LeBron James jersey with Eddie Jones.
No Eddie Jones jersey, man. No.
Oh my God! You can't get a LeBron James Heat jersey. You can't put James on a number 6 on a Miami Heat jersey. So
Eddie
unless
Jones
you got
is
a
crazy.
unless you got an older one, you're not gonna get one. Unless the Heat create a new one, unless they do one next year for him, you can't do it. So I'm not gonna be able to have a LeBron James Heat jersey. Maybe I might be able to put GOAT James. Maybe they'll let me put GOAT James on number 6. I should try that.
I mean, they did make a King James jersey that he wore in 2014.
Yeah, man. What you mean? I've been wore a Michael Jordan jersey. Y'all never see me with my Michael Jordan Washington Wizards jersey? Y'all never see me wear. I got an episode where I'm wearing a Washington Bullets throwback Michael Jordan jersey. I got it. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's do something. Let's have some fun right quick. I want to have some fun. Y'all want to have some fun with me? Let's have some fun. Let me show y'all wearing a Michael. Let me show y'all being a Michael Jordan fan. I know about me a Michael Jordan fan because I was born in the 1900s. You motherfuckers was born in the 2000s talking about you Michael Jordan fans. Tired of you, Zesty Jeffries. Get on my goddamn nerves. And let me show y'all me representing Michael Jordan to the fullest. I have Michael Jordan jerseys. I still got it too. It's one of my favorite jerseys as well. Let me see.
Yo, Jordan was the real one, man. He played for free. He donated his salary. They had to give him a salary. He donated the whole thing, man. Y'all gotta.
But you know that was a tax write-off. You know that was a tax write-off. Stop it.
Look, no, okay, all right. So when he was president, he got a $2 million salary. He gave $1 million he gave the other $1 million to the late great Wes Unseld for being the most underpaid team GM in the league. So Jordan said, "Let me give you that $1 million. Let me give you $1 million of my own salary. Give it to him. I don't need money to do this job. I'm selling kicks left and right. Come on now, Jordan was the real one.
No, but of course. Yeah, selling mad kicks. Yeah, of course, I would agree with you because he was making millions, tens of millions selling sneakers. I agree with you. So he can give up his little 10, 15 million. What were they making? Like 10, 15 million dollars back then? Wasn't even that much.
He made 30 before he broke out. But when he took the Wizards president job, you know, he didn't even want a salary, but he said, "I'm gonna give, just give Unseld that raise, and I'm do the job for free. Like I'm just here." Jordan was there to get that ownership. He knew he was getting it on the back end. So Jordan wasn't hurting for no money, and he wanted to make sure that Wes Unseld, because remember, Unseld didn't make all that much money in the 70s, and Unseld was a real one too, man. I love him. Shout out to the late great Wes Unseld, man. He was one of them guys, man. He was a straight pick setter. That's why he won Finals MVP, just setting cats up, man.
Just setting cats up. Oh my God, you're crazy. All right, so let me bring up something right quick for y'all. Since y'all were asking me, we're bringing back some old stuff about me being a fan right quick. Let me do some fun. Let's have some fun before we get up out of here. Let me see here. All right, so y'all can see the screen. Y'all can see Go James Kingdom channel. Y'all can see the channel. Y'all see it. Y'all see the channel, right? Y'all see the channel, right? All right, so let's go. Let's go to me. That's me wearing the Washington Bullets. That's a Jordan jersey right there.
Hold on, let me see.
I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I think the 90s is the greatest era ever, even though I was born in 1996. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I don't recognize Bill Russell's 11 championships. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I don't recognize Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's 6 MVPs.
Oh, y'all can't. What? You see that jump of water?
I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I don't recognize Wilt Chamberlain's career as points per game. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I think fouling is defense. Hey, man, ain't no fucking defense, man. It's a foul, bro. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, 6 championships is the most won by any player in NBA history. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I think 6 championships are more than 11.
Oh, man.
I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I think the 90s is the greatest era ever. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, 2 3-peats is better than the 8. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I think 6-0 is the best finals record ever. Of course. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, today's NBA is so.
Old mid shit.
I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I'm about today's NBA. base. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I stopped watching in the early 2000s.
When Olo was born.
I'm a Michael Jordan fan. If I do watch today's NBA, it's to watch LeBron James play.
Eyes closed.
I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Well, really, I'm a Kobe Bryant fan because I never watched Michael Jordan play basketball.
I told you I got a whole Jordan jersey.
I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I don't recognize that he had 2 back-to-back losing seasons and was the HC. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I don't recognize Michael Jordan's 3 retirements as quitting. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, he made Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen's careers.
Oh, look at the old man. I wasn't old then. It was like 2 years ago. The fadeaway. Come on, man. Y'all could not guard me. I will whoop the shit out of y'all in basketball.
I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Of course, I don't recognize the 60s. I'm a Michael Jordan fan.
That was me having some fun, man. So as y'all can see, I do have a Michael Jordan jersey. I'm not you Zesty Jeffries. I'm not doing none of that. Oh my God, man. Shout out to y'all, man. He said an air ball. Where did you see an air ball? Where did Ro go?
Probably when your eyes was closed.
He said my eyes was closed like LeBron. Oh man, yep. That's an old school jersey.
Close free throw. Trust me, I tried. It always goes off to the right.
You heard the swish. Don't be disrespectful towards the guy. Come on now, man.
That's sound effects.
Yeah, he said that sound effects.
Oh man.
This is crazy. And this is why, again, like I said, Zesty Jeffries don't stand me. They can't stand me, man. I'm a real basketball fan. So even if they try to make fun of me for liking LeBron, all they doing is making fun of themselves because I'm a basketball fan. I like the game of basketball. I talk the game of basketball. And the only reason I do what I do here in GOAT James Kingdom is because I can talk it. I would never join GOAT James Kingdom or create some show just to sit here and talk about random things. Like, I'm not going to sit here and just tell you any nonsense just to tell you what, just because to troll. Like, I was told I'd just be trolling because I said the Heat overachieved or LeBron didn't choke in 2011. That's not me trolling, ladies and gentlemen. Those are facts. I got evidence and stuff to prove the things that I say. I'm not just saying it just to say it. But you guys are the ones who have an agenda and don't need no facts. All you want is other people to agree with you. I don't need nobody to agree with you. That's why I do this every Friday night. Because I'm by myself. I ain't worrying about nobody. I ain't got Brandon to help me. I ain't got Lamont to help me. It's just you and I. And I put the link up and you Zesty Jeffries is scared. Like I always say. And that's just the truth. So, you know. And we, like I said, I'm going to continue to expose the Zesty Jeffrey lies because the game of basketball is beautiful. And we've never seen the game like we've seen the NBA today. This is the best NBA we've ever seen in our lives. You've never seen none of this. Those are just the facts. Yeah, he retires next year. That's it. LeBron retires next year. Is his last year. That's it. He just retires. That's just really
big 23.
You're not gonna wait for Bryce. Bryce got to play the 1 year.
No. He good. Okay. He good. He's not gonna. See that's the lucky thing. See, when you that first child, the parents experiment with you. They do all kind of weird stuff because you the first child. The second child come around, you say to yourself, "Nah, I'm not gonna do all that stuff." So Bryce is gonna be all right. Bryce is gonna be able to join the NBA without worrying about his dad and nothing like that. Nobody's gonna be talking about him. So yeah, he's kind of good on that. So. But before we get up out of here, because we're gonna end today's show because we don't got no Zesty Jeffries, and we done reminisce. We done went down memory lane. I done showed y'all who I'm about, and I'll rehash some of it before we get up out of here. But let me get Rose, get your last word in. Make sure you plug in your channel as well, brother. What's your last take, brother?
Yeah, no doubt. Man. Look, basketball history is beautiful, man. Basketball, this game is a beautiful game, bro. It had to grow. It had to, everything that's added to the game is great. Sometimes we want to see a little bit of what we used to saw that they kind of went away from. I mean, one thing I love about basketball, man, is that you could play many, many styles and still win. You know, I'm looking at right now. Us Knicks fans, we lit because again, this is my 9th Knicks Pacers series, right? So we're here. It's just good to be alive, man. It's better than not making the playoffs. Better than what I'm saying. It's better than counting lottery balls. So at the end of the day, this is a good time. The playoffs has been good. Y'all been exposed to something like Tyrese Halliburton's of the world and all that. The Pacers play a beautiful brand of basketball. And the Celtics play a beautiful brand of basketball. And the Knicks play, there's many, many styles. And like I said, that's what I like to talk about on my channel. So we do the 10 Toes Down podcast. Like I said, I make a take, I stand on it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. I'm right more than I'm wrong. So yeah, catch me on at King Speaks Row. You see me on King Speaks Row NYK for life. That's probably why I'm gonna keep that because I'm gonna let y'all know I'm a Knicks fan right off, so you can hold it against me, whatever. But I'm a Knicks fan forever to the day I die. Orange and blue, everything, no doubt.
Shout out to you, man. Appreciate that, man. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate that, man. So, Olo, you got any last words, man? Go ahead and plug in your channel as well before you get up out of here.
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5. You already talking 2026. That's how young you is. I can't even look forward to 2026. I'm going to be 45 then. I got to enjoy 44, man. Appreciate you there, Olo, man. I'll see you around, brother. I'll see you on FYF and all these other crazy YouTube streets, brother. Peace and blessings, brother. Let's get you in, Juan Boy, man. Thank you again, brother. Any last words? Let them know where they can find you. I already know where I can find you. Right here on GOAT James Kingdom as a GOAT James Kingdom member and also on all the other GOAT James Kingdom platforms. But go ahead, brother. Any last words, Juan Boy?
Yeah, man. You can just find me anywhere they talk real basketball, man. I'm just a basketball fan. Give my real take on what I see and what I know. And I love, as much as I love the game, I'm never going to let it be narrative driven or try to make it seem like some players are better than what they were or not give the great players the credit that they deserve.
Facts. I appreciate that, Juan Boy. Thank you so much, man. So, again, that is Juan Boy, a GOAT James Kingdom member. Much appreciation, brother, because you are always doing your thing in the GJK community. And, again, if you want to keep supporting what we do here in GOAT James Kingdom, all you got to do is go to our channel, hit that join tab. You'll see all the different perks for that. But before we get to all of that, again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Friday Night Exposure with The Exposer. I'm your host, Ajani The Exposer, the biggest LeBron fan on social media. This is the GOAT James Kingdom platform. I do this every Friday night. Tonight, I was basically opening up to you guys about my earliest and fondest memories as a basketball fan. So if we go back to the earliest times of me being a basketball fan, you can see I was a big-time basketball fan. Started early in the 90s. I remember Jordan losing to the Pistons. I remember him winning versus the Lakers. I remember Magic's retirement. I remember Larry Johnson in the slam dunk contest, and that's when I truly became a fan of basketball. I remember the 94 finals because of the Knicks were in the finals and Akeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing were facing each other. Not to mention the OJ trial and all the things that happened around that time and the OJ chase that cut off the NBA Finals. I remember Jordan's return. I remember Shaq's ascension into the league, the 96 Finals with Rodman and all of his popularity. I remember Jordan's last shot. I witnessed it all. Big house full of Jordan fans in my household. I remember the 99 Finals again because of the Knicks, and they went on a spectacular run to make the NBA Finals in 1999 in a shortened season. Tim Duncan ascended to being one of the great players of all time, starting in 99. Then the 2000s, I went from being a Charlotte fan to a Heat fan. I went from being a young boy to a young man at the same time. I watched the Lakers, ascend to the championship with Shaquille O'Neal. I went to my first basketball game. I watched the Miami Heat draft Caron Butler, Dwayne Wade, trade for Shaq, win a championship, eventually get LeBron James, and eventually what you see now, which is me here as a part of the GOAT James Kingdom platform. So again, if you guys are true fans of the game, like I've been a fan of the game, then you can't do nothing but appreciate what we do here in GOAT James Kingdom. So if you are a true supporter of what we do here in GOAT James Kingdom, thank you. If not, please support us. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership. We go live every Sunday noon with the GOAT James Kingdom show with B. Lee and Ajani. right? And that's where you can get us talk about the GOAT debate. We talk about basketball. This week's show will be another great show. We'll have another great, another great topic for all you guys who want to join us on a Sunday afternoon. So again, on Sunday afternoon, the Clutch Sports Hitman, Brandon and I show up with the GOAT James Kingdom show, noon Eastern time. If that's not just your brand of tea, well, come on, check us out on a Saturday night, because tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll get the Radar show, okay, which is basically Brandon, Travis, and John. They'll bring up another great topic. You guys will debate that. They'll have another trivia question for you guys. Again, we're continually growing our content here in GOAT James Kingdom. As you can see, we even have shows on Wednesdays now with the Alan Powell show right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. Again, you can subscribe to the Alan Powell show. You can subscribe to the Radar podcast show. All of that is available for you on YouTube, but also right here on a Friday night, you get me versus 20 Zesty Jeffries in the comments, because they'll never be man enough to hit the link. Now, some of them are man enough to tell me to come hit their link. Shout out to Dookie for letting me hit his link. But again, this is what we are here in GOAT James Kingdom. We're going to continue to expand. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that join tab, become a member of GOAT James Kingdom. There are different tiers. There's the Knights of GJK. That just supports what we do, give you exclusive content and material as a GJK member, and you get special shows and shout-outs and access to special member chats. Also, you can upgrade to the Castle Knights of GJK, where you get exclusive perks like where we show you how to make graphs and memes. You are also available for a custom GOAT James Kingdom t-shirt, which is a t-shirt of your liking of whatever you want, for whatever design that you want. We can do it together. If not, also, you want to step up and truly support us with the ultimate GOAT James Kingdom membership, which is the King Guards membership. You get access to all the previous perks as a King's Guard member, but this one here, you get access for us to give you your own reels and videos. So this works well if you're a content creator. The King's Guard is actually for you, because we also provide you with a GJK hat. We got posters and shirts for you as well. So all of this is available for you right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel, where Brandon and I, like I said, give you guys the best content on the internet about LeBron James, the GOAT debate, and basketball in general. So I would like to tell you guys, thank you for joining me again on another great Friday night. Peace and blessings.
You have now been exposed by the exposer.
And I'll see you guys later. And again, ladies and gentlemen, have a great, wonderful night.
If you're a basketball fan and you're tired of basketball shows that talk about fake narratives and using non-basketball terms like killer instinct, playoff translation, gravity, come to GOAT James Kingdom.
Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom, where basketball lives forever. You get to enjoy BB and Ajani talk basketball every Sunday noon Eastern time right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. Support by subscribing, and also check out the membership at GOAT James Kingdom.
Who's the all-time leader of postseasons? The answer's Braun. I'm a witness, advocate. The Bible ain't tell us King James was from Akron. All-time leader in points ain't nothing average. Mavs dropped Luka cause they terrible management. Or was it gambling? Yogo was 40 out here playing like a scrub. Brian 40 still dropping triple dubs. And I ain't the one to talk about nobody's son, unless it's Gloria, but they call him the chosen one. Stephen A. trolling. We seen that boxing video, that uppercut bogus. Akron hammer over everything. You better zoom, soldier. You want... That's why LeBron's trash.
Trash. LeBron Ramon James Sr., born December 30th, 1984 at approximately 4:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the greatest human being blessed among us mere mortals? 4 rings, 4 MVPs, the league scoring record, and he got more records than MJ and Kobe combined. Loving husband and devoted father of 3. Don't you ever disrespect my basketball daddy, you understand me? You know what? Log off, uninstall the game, and tell your mama to ground you, cause your mouth is reckless. Go disrespect LeBron James. Oh, I cannot believe you. I hope you break your ankles next pickup game, little nigga. Lakers in 5, Baby! He disrespected Brown again.